What is up, my good people of the internet? Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Appreciate your patience here this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful morning this morning. Hope you're making the most of your day. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope that you are being safe out there, So hopefully whatever's going on, however your week has been going, however your morning's been going, we're going to try and make it just a little bit better. So, I'd like to do something that I do every day. It's very important to me. But I feel like now, with the stress and that people have and different things that are going on and just the importance of this in my life, in your life, I tell people all the time, you can have a religion, not have religion. That's your choice. But I pray, and I'd like to say a prayer for all of us today because I feel like we need it. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, I ask you to come into our lives today. I ask you to help us with whatever's bothering us, whatever's paining us, whatever's ailing us, to help us through anything physically, mentally, socially, economically, spiritually, to just help us to, physically, if I didn't say that, help us to heal completely and for good. And no matter what, to heal through you. Miracles happen. Please help them to continue to happen in our lives. Please help us to handle well whatever comes our way, including what is out of our control, to handle it well, not control it, but to handle it well, to respond well to it, as well as to anything that is in our control, to handle it well. Lord, may we not let any person, place, or thing take control of our lives. People do things every day. Things happen every day that can ruin our day. Help us to remember the beauty of being woken up in the morning, of getting the opportunity to be alive. And please help us to focus on your love, focus on your promises to us, to build us a hope in a future, to protect us, to never harm us, to never cause us pain. Please, Lord, help us to know you today, to be healthy and safe and happy today, and to trust that even when things look bleak and they don't make sense and we don't understand and we have no control, may we give it all up to you. I give you every single pain of mine, every question of mine, every worry of mine up to you, Lord Jesus Christ. And I pray that you help me and help us all in Jesus' name. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Sometimes we need that, right? So thank you for being with me in that time. I welcome you to today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. There's a lot of things we're going to get into today. You know that on Fridays we have our signature series of segments, our trio, inside of MonPausPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to start things off with the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. We're going to jump into LEAD, which is an acronym that God helped me to create. I blame God completely for that. Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Then we'll jump into the Top Dog of the Week and honor someone or a group of people from K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding who proudly present you the Top Dog of the Week. And we'll round out the show by continuing our conversations all week long with Syracuse Orange football alumni about the new head coach and about Syracuse moving forward. So a lot of great stuff coming up here where sports meets life. We're going to start things off with the Annoying Moment of the Week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The Annoying Moment of the Week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by, I laugh every time I hear it, but, the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. And a happy Friday to everybody. You know we have our trio of signature segments here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on Friday, and always appreciate being able to bring this to you. We love having some fun here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we're going to start things off, as we do every Friday, with the annoying moment of the week. So let's get right into it. My annoying moment of the week for this week, man, there's a lot of places I can go. There was a late entry for my annoying moment that came in yesterday. But, I think for this week, my annoying moment of the week, I'm dealing with a neck injury, and the doctors were great, and, for the most part, people were great when it came to, kind of helping me through this and giving me information and all of that. So I appreciate that very much. So I would say, my annoying moment of the week is just how would I like to word this? It is the hypocrisy that exists in our society. And the reality that people that will do things to you will accuse you of those things and then ask you to apologize, or have someone else ask you to apologize because they can't let you know that they said it. We live in a world where people are so quick to accuse you of something that they did. And I'm going to say that again. We live in a world where people are so quick to accuse you of something that they did. So they're asking you for an apology when they should be apologizing to you. It's called projection. When somebody does something to you, and then they say, oh, no, you did that to me. You did that to me. I didn't do it to you. You did that thing to me. That's called projection. And that's something that I feel like is an unfortunate part of our society, but it exists in every society that I know of, right? Projection is the reality that when somebody does something or says something, instead of taking responsibility for their words and actions, they tell you that you are responsible for them, and they blame you for those actions. It's incredible how people... Good morning, Jerry. Much love and much appreciation. Jerry's been a supporter of my work since day zero, and I can't thank you enough, Mr. Hart. I love you. Send you my love. Send your family my love as well. Prayers and hopes and well wishes for all of the Harts and everyone connected to you that you care about. God bless to each and every one of you. And if you have any animals in the family, God bless to them too as well. They're part of the fam. So my annoying moment of the week, it's this sad thing in our society. The projection of something. And I've been through it, right? I was thrown at me yesterday. This realization that, there's certain things that I look at people for and I say, why didn't this happen the way that, I thought it was supposed to happen? Why didn't I have, what I was supposed to have in this respect? And then to have somebody accuse you of the thing that somebody else did to you, and for this person to be a nameless, faceless, as they commonly are, human being, right? They show up on social media, they accuse you of something, and they have no idea what they're talking about, or the fact that the exact thing that they're accusing you of was something that was done to you many times, and potentially by the same person that they're trying to defend. So, I mean, how do you handle it? I prayed about it. I find that when I don't know what to do, I just pray about it, and I talk to God about it. And when I talk to God about it, I just say, Lord, help me to deal with the things that I do not understand. Help me to make good decisions no matter what is going on. Guide us and guard us. I pray that all the time. For me, I pray that for the people that don't like me. I say, guide us and guard us. Guide us toward you. Guard us from all the rest that's not you. And when I don't know what to do, I just take a step back, trying to get better at that. Take a step back and just say, okay, you know what? Is it worth responding to? It's not. Because I'm going to defend myself, and then somebody's going to say something. But the fact of the matter is, you know who you are, right? You know who you are. And I think we all get to a point where we're sick and tired of trying to tell the world who we are and defend ourselves. But you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to defend yourself. I want people to know that. We feel like we have to. We have to write our name. We have to write this. We have to do that. You don't have to defend yourself. Because if you feel like you have to defend yourself, you're essentially saying that whoever you're defending yourself to is the creator, is the master, is the God of your life. You're trying to get this person to, or these people, to understand you, to know you. And what you don't realize what you're doing with that is you're giving them an extreme amount of power. You are saying to them that I need you to know who I am. I need you to okay my life so that I could step forward. I don't need anybody to okay my life except for the Lord Jesus Christ. And people in 2023, you talk about Jesus, you talk about God, you talk about the Holy Spirit, and they're, whoa, Dan, whoa, this is a broadcast. This is a sports show. Why are you talking about God? Because God gave me my life. If you enjoy this show, well, it doesn't come without God giving me my life. It doesn't come without God giving me my talents. It doesn't come without God helping me to network. It doesn't come without God leading me to the right businesses, leading me to the right people, leading me to the right city, leading me to the right opportunities. There is no coincidence in my life. I call them God incidences, where God is very purposeful. You do not have to define yourself to anyone. You don't have to get other people to understand you. You don't need to beg other people to be on your side, right? You don't have to. Because the reality of it all is the people that know you. And the people that don't. And we spend so much of our lives on, good morning to Mike, we spend so much of our lives, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us spend so much of our lives on social media, right? We spend so much of our lives on social media, just waiting and hoping that somebody will understand us, will like us, will, follow us, will click on our picture. Do you know how many times I was the first to a story and somebody else stole it and that person's post got thousands more views than mine? That person got, anytime I do something that's huge, three things happen. Either somebody takes credit for it, somebody buries it, or somebody discredits it. And that's what I'm used to. I get so excited. Oh, I broke this story. Oh, I got this interview. Oh, I did this. If somebody has the same idea as me, somebody will say, well, you need to give them credit for their idea. I'm waiting for the day where social media warriors defend the years of theft of my property, theft of my work, disrespect of my company, things I probably could have done a lot of things about. But see, I don't believe in burying people. I believe that if you hand them a shovel, they will bury themselves. And it is not my job. My name, Daniel, means God is my judge. What that means to me by definition is I cannot judge another person. I cannot judge anything. All I can do is say, God, this is your creation. Judge it as you will. And I don't wish bad on people at all. I want to believe that you can't get away with theft. I want to believe that you can't get away with lies. I want to believe that you can't get away with disrespect. But sometimes in this world you do. And eventually, I am a firm believer that God rights the ship. And I've seen him do it. So, do I wish bad on people? Absolutely not. Do I want the karma of someone who lies, cheats, and steals? Absolutely not. And, my annoying moment is that, and people don't even care. People will steal from me when I'm in a hospital bed. People will do horrible things to you when you're out of commission, when you're sick, when you're sad, when something's going on. It's amazing that evil doesn't sleep. It doesn't. Evil will steal at any point that they don't care. Your dad could have just passed away, and evil's like, cool, they're not paying attention right now. Steal. I remember my grandmother passed away, and there was people in the business that I work in that had no heart to it. Just kept on going. Didn't even care. Just moving on. Oh, they're dead? Oh, well, time to write a story, Dan. They said you've had a month to get over your grandmother's death. It's time to get back to work. A month. We've decided you've grieved enough for your grandmother. Time to get back to work. And it's just funny because the world that I live in this media world, in this entertainment world, everything you do right, somebody else claims. And God forbid you mess up, and no matter how much you do right, hey, Dan made a mistake 17 years ago. Remember that? People will discredit and defame and push you down, and you never done a darn thing to them. People will lie, cheat, and steal from you. You never done a darn thing to them. So you can't control it. So what do? You can't let it control you. You can't control it. It should not control you. Do not give it something that you do not have, right? You don't have control of that person, place, or thing, so why let that person, place, or thing control you? Don't give them what you do not have. It is not an even playing field if you allow them to control you. It's hard. It's difficult. But like Jerry said, some people would rather see you go in a hearse instead of a limousine, and I fully know that. If I died today, the Syracuse media would keep doing their job. They wouldn't come to my funeral. They wouldn't come to my wake. They probably wouldn't pray for me. They would go, oh, cool, more for us. I don't know who they would steal from because I would be gone, but I'm sure they could dig up some old tapes like Tupac, find some lyrics. But you think about that. You think about the people that you worry about. If you died today, would they come to your funeral? Would they come to your wake? Would they pray for you? No. These people that treat you like garbage, they would just go on for their job. They might smirk. They might like it. They might be like, oh, finally he's gone. She's gone. When you live life like that, and people say it's morbid, but it's not. It's real. If you live life like 99.99999999999% of the people that treat you very poorly, they don't care if you die. They don't care if you break your leg. They don't care if you have a sinus infection. They don't care if you're in the hospital. They don't care if somebody passed away in your family. It doesn't matter. And when you realize that, when you realize the people that you give your energy to, these negative, just nasty, dirty people, they don't care. And it's on to the next one. They're going and abusing somebody else. They abuse you. You sit and worry about, oh my gosh, this person cut me off in traffic. Oh my God, they cut me off in traffic. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? That person's already 3 car lengths ahead of you, cutting somebody else off. Why? I mean, did they cut you off? Yeah. Was it nice? No. But you can't control it. They don't care. They don't know you. And 99.99999% of people that hate you, defame you, discredit you, disrespect you, they don't know you either. They don't know you either. In the world that I'm in the media, I can say like a handful of people might know me pretty well. But when you're in a room of 300 people, maybe 2 of them know of you. They might know you. They might know of your work, but they don't know you. They never ate with you. They never talked with you. And I've had some really nasty conversations of total strangers that'll just come up to me and be like, hey, I make fun of you. Hey, I don't like you. And you look at society and you say, we live in a society in America where there's a group of people that want everybody to love them and nobody to be mean to them and nobody to trigger them. And then also in the same society, there's people that say horrendous things, that wish bad on people, that do bad things to people, that are constantly bullying people. And these things are coexisting. This don't ever say I did anything wrong because I'm right all the time and I'm going to bully everybody because I just don't care. And amidst all of these people, there's good people. There's people that don't bully. There's people that don't say I'm never wrong. There's people that don't say it's my way or the highway. There's people that seek to learn. They seek to understand. They might disagree with you, but they want to hear you out. They want you to hear them. They want to have a discussion. They want to grow as people. They don't bully. They don't deface. They don't defame. They don't knock down. I've had plenty of opportunities to give somebody what they gave me, and I don't do that. Because at the end of my life, that satisfaction of bullying a bully, God is going to call me out on that. God is going to say to me, I thought you didn't like people like this. I thought you didn't like when people did that. But you did it. You did it, my son. You did it. Remember that Tuesday when you said that thing? Remember that day in December when you had that comment? Why did you say it? And I was challenged with that this week. I was challenged with the opportunity to defend myself, and I pulled back, and I said, no, I'm not going to publicly beg somebody to know the truth. I'm not going to publicly beg somebody to like me, to know me, to respect me. I'm not going to call them a hypocrite, and it's exactly what they are, but I'm not going to do that because it is not my job to judge them. It is not my job to fix them. The people that hurt us, we seek to fix them. We want every bully to apologize, right? We go back to high school reunions hoping the bully's going to be nice, hoping that they're going to say, I'm sorry for all of these specific things. In 10th grade, I did this to you. In 8th grade, I did that to you. We expect people to be sorry for the actions that they've done. But the reality of it all, folks, is if they could bring themselves to do those actions and say those things, they might not be the person that's going to apologize for them, because you got to think about it. We ask for apologies from people that do terrible things and say horrible things, and we want an apology from them. But they're still the people that did these things. And if you could bring yourself to do this thing, why would you expect a person who would bring themselves to do something so nasty to apologize, right? If someone is capable of that dirty, why do you think they're all of a sudden going to be clean? Now, some people change, some people don't. But if you get cheated on, right, they're like, well, I wanted that person to call me up and say I'm sorry. But that person cheated on you. Do you really think that they were thinking about you when they did it? And even if they were, that they cared enough? So they didn't care enough when they did it, but you want them to care after. You want it to matter after, right? We're always asking people that do terrible things to just start caring. Start caring now, to just wake up one day and say, I'm not a bully anymore. To wake up one day and say, I'm not going to do bad things anymore. And some people change, and some people don't. But if you live your whole life waiting for everybody to know who you are and appreciate who you are and respect who you are and love who you are and give you your flowers. I joke about it all the time. I was like, my Toronto Raptors won. People made fun of me my whole life. Give me my flowers. I know people are not going to give me my flowers, and I'm not waiting for my flowers. When the Raptors won the championship, that's all I needed, because it had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with me and my team. I love the Toronto Raptors. I don't care if you give me credit for it. Because I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you agree with it. I don't care if you deny that, you even said anything before. That doesn't matter to me. I'm a Raptors fan. The Raptors won the championship. It's a beautiful thing, right? In 2019, I got to sit there and say to myself, if they never win a championship again, they won a championship. They won a championship, right? That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Don't wait for people to give don't wait for people to give you your flowers. Don't wait for people to apologize to you. Stop waiting for the world to just do you right. Do yourself right. Respect yourself. Walk into rooms where people hate you. Walk into rooms where people have disrespected you, lied to you, stolen from you. Go into rooms where people have absolutely no positive things that they have done or said to you. Walk into those rooms. Sit in those chairs right next to them. Look them in the face and let them know you're coming to the party, to the meeting, to the conference, to whatever, no matter what they do or what they say. I've been showing up my whole life doing that. I sit next to people that have no respect for me. I sit next to people that steal from me. I sit next to people that say bad things about me. I sit next to people that threaten me. Do you know why? Because you have to have courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is saddling up anyways. And I can't take credit for it. I read it somewhere. But courage, it's actually at Longhorn Steakhouse. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is saying, no matter what happens, no matter what people say and do, I'm still going to get up in the morning, I'm going to put my pants on, and I'm going to make it happen. Because you quitting, that is the victory of the enemy. You giving up is the victory of the enemy. The enemy knowing that they changed you. They made you talk different. They made you look different. You stopped showing up to things. You ran away. That is when the enemy wins. When you run. Don't run. Don't run. You have every reason to be there. You have every reason to live your life and live your dreams. And there's not a person on this planet, that is better than you. Jerry said, I don't like the Raptors. Go Celtics. Jerry, I love you. And I don't need your flowers, Jerry. And when the Celtics aren't playing the Raptors, I typically cheer for the Celtics. There are certain teams that I just don't cheer for. I just don't. I mean, I'm an impartial broadcaster, so I'm going to look at something, I'm going to say, okay, I might not like the team, I might not like this player and how they handle their business, but if I think they're going to win, I'm going to say they're going to win, right? So, as an impartial broadcaster, there's games where I'm like, ugh. But for you, Jer, for you to know, my grandfather, my mom's dad, Celtics fan. My baby Donna, my Aunt Donna, she's a Celtics fan. So, I mean, I don't dislike the Celtics, but, I mean, if they play the Raptors, it's Raptors all day, baby. It's Raptors all day, today, tomorrow, the next day. But to get back to the annoying moment of the week for a second, just understand that this world is not going to give you what you want. The world is going to give you what it gives you. It's going to give you what it feels like giving you at that moment. So stop looking to the world and look to God. Why do you think this country's so messed up? Because they took God out of schools, they took God out of this, they took God out of that. Good morning to everybody that's watching and listening. Appreciate y'all, including on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, All Around the World. Hashtag Boys to Men. Great song. If you've never heard the song All Around the World by Boys to Men, you need to listen to it. I still remember the lyrics. And I listened to it, I think, when I was like 9 or something like that. I mean, I still listen to it. I think I did just a few days ago. Or I shouldn't say a few days ago. That's not true. I would say within the last year, I think I've listened to the song. Pretty sure that I did. But stop expecting the world to do what you want it to do. Stop expecting it to apologize. Stop expecting it to be sorry. And just understand that putting your faith in God, you're going to get consistency. Putting your faith in people, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have faith in people, but I'm saying having faith in people with no God, people will let you down consistently. They will, right? You're going to hire somebody, you're going to think they're a great candidate, and they're going to let you down. You're going to date somebody, you're going to think they're a perfect fit, you're going to think, hey, we're getting married, and they let you down, right? You're going to have a friend who you think you're best friends with, and one day they're going to look you in the eye, and they're going to let you down. And that stuff happens. But you know what? 38 years of my life, God has never lied to me, stolen from me, disrespected me, cheated on me, drug my name through the mud, slandered me, libeled me, pushed me down, kicked me when I was down. There's God and there's people. And we put so much into people. People have to like me. People have to support me. People have to agree with me. No, they don't. Thomas Edison created the light bulb. Thomas Edison was probably considered a nut job when he said, I'm going to take light and I'm going to make it. I'm going to make light happen. And people go, you can't make light happen. God made the sun. You can't make light yourself. You can't. What are you going to take pieces of the sun? You can't do that. And then he made a light bulb. There was a contingency of people that said that the earth was flat. If you said the earth was round, you were considered insane. It was considered fake news. But the earth is round, and you can't fall off of it. But people thought that. There's so many things in history that people thought that weren't true. They weren't right. Right? If you go and you read a history book in Nazi Germany, it's not the same as reading one in America, right? One might say Hitler's a genius, and ours says Hitler was a tyrant. Same story, told differently. People throughout history have disrespected, lied, cheated on, stolen from other people. The first thing that I built in my entire career, years after I built it, I had somebody come to an event where I was the keynote speaker. And after I did my speech and had a great time and was living on cloud nine, they looked at me and said, your show is actually my show. I made it. And I thought to myself, what a sad person. But that's what you have to do. You have to say, man, what a sad person. I'm going to pray for them. And then you move forward. You have to move forward. You have to move forward. Because things are going to happen to you. And if you let them take your day, somebody says something mean about you, somebody lies about you, somebody steals from you, and you spend days worried about it, concerned about it. Why did it happen? How did it happen? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You didn't spend time with your dog. You didn't spend time with your cat. When you talked to your mom, that's all you talked about. When you talked to your dad, you didn't ask him how his day was going. You didn't enjoy that trip that you went on because you're worried about this stuff. What if you were at Walt Disney World right now, riding rides, and somebody said something bad about you on social media? You going to stop enjoying Disney? Just block it all out, stare at your phone? Oh my gosh, I can't believe they said this. I thought they liked me. And then what are you going to do? What if you never go to Disney again? What if you walk out of Disney that day, you didn't enjoy it because you were worried about what somebody said on social media, and then Disney closed? Never can go back to Disney. And the last memory you have of Disney is that you weren't even paying attention. You could have been sitting at home on your couch because all the stuff was happening around you, but you were here. And if you're going to be here, if you're like this to your phone, you might as well be home. You might as well be sitting at home. Because if you're going to do this, you don't need to be somewhere. Be at home. That's reality. Enjoy the time you have. I'm speaking to myself. enjoy the time you have. Live your life to the fullest. And we're going to talk about that right after this break.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, located on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave, is the perfect place to start your sports card collecting or to continue it, making the memories within this wonderful hobby. Same hobby, new memories. You come in with your kids, you come in with your dad, your mom, your grandparents. When I was growing up, my grandmas used to take me to collect cards. They used to bring me to sports card places. My mom, to this day, still does it. I'm in my 30s, and my mom's like, hey, you want to go out there? And we go to GG Cards and Breaks. We continue that tradition. We continue that love, that passion, that excitement for something that keeps us kids, keeps us connected to the sports we love, gives us a piece of history, and does it in such a fun and exciting way. GG Cards and Breaks embodies what it is like to have memories over time with the people that you love, to be around friends, to make new friends, and to be a part of a community that is so caring. GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave, open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it's time to jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. Today's topic, live in the moment. And folks, I'm promising you this. This is all God. This is all God. All of it is God. Okay? I give praise to the Lord. Praise to God. Praise to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Because no matter how many times I do these shows, I do not say, okay, the annoying moment is going to connect to Lead, and this is how I'm going to connect it this week. It just happens in conversation. It literally just happens in conversation. I put it out there. I put out the annoying moment of the week, and then I think to myself, oh my goodness, that's going to connect to Lead. And that to me is God. I lived my entire life believing that God, every single day, was leaving me little nuggets. Daniel, I love you. Daniel, I love you. I got your back. And as I got older and I got more cynical and this world got me more jaded, I allowed that. I started thinking to myself, well, maybe God isn't doing that. Maybe I'm just seeing that. And then God was like, how dare you? Enjoy God. Live in the moment. Live in the moment. I put up something yesterday, and the post made me so sad, and I put it up because of that. I put it up because, one, I agree with it, two, it's real, and three, because it really genuinely made me sad, and I needed other people to see it, not because I wanted you to be sad, but because I wanted you to really think about this the way I thought about it. So you see that? It says, let me put it like that. There we go. It says, you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. And it's a guy laying in bed with his wife on his phone, and then she passes away, and he's got his hand toward where she used to be, and he's holding on to her picture with a tear in his eye. You will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. How many times have we wasted time? And I put stuff up so many times to call myself out because I need to be called out by myself. I don't need anybody else to do it for me. I call myself out because I have spent so much time worrying, thinking about what other people do, what they say, how it affects me, instead of just playing with my dog. Instead of just like saying, hey, Mom, you know what? I've talked about my problems for like 3 months. How's your day going? What are you up to? To say to my dad, and not say it just to say it because I've been talking for an hour, but to say to my dad, you know, what's going on with you? How are you? What do you want to do today, Pop? Because there's going to be a day where you can't say that to your parents. There's going to be a day where you can't call your dad. There's going to be a day where you can't talk to your mom. There's going to be a day where your dog or your cat is not going to run up to you and wag their tail and or curl around you. There's going to be a day where you have to be faced with the fact that you let the haters and the naysayers and the negative people own your life, own you, own your time, own your energy. My dad told me a long time ago, he said, every time you wake up, every day you wake up, God gives you a finite amount of energy. And once that energy is gone, it's gone. So whatever you use that energy on, that energy is like a gas tank. Once you use that energy, it's gone. It's gone. And people say, well, I go fill up at a gas station. No, we're talking about this is the energy that God gave you, okay? It's from God. There's no God gas station. So you can refill your energy in different ways, but we're getting philosophical. God says at the beginning of the day, here's the energy that I've given you, Daniel. I've given you 100% of energy. If you use energy on people that disrespect you and defame you and deface you and steal from you and da-da-da-da, now you're at 53%. Now you're going to use your energy on that girl that you dated and it didn't work out. Now you're at 47%. Now you're going to use your energy on the fact that somebody just cut you off in traffic. Now you're at 42%. Now somebody did something that they weren't supposed to do, and now you have to make a bunch of phone calls to correct it. Now you're at 23%. And it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I stay up till what, midnight? You got 10 more hours and you got 23% battery. If that was our phone, we would go nuts. My phone's at 23%. It's almost on red. Uh-oh. But we use our energy down to 23%. The problem is, we're not a phone. We can't say, hey, God, used our energy on stupid stuff. Can you give me new energy? Can you provide me with some more energy? Because I need some energy because I used it. So can I get some? God, where's my energy at? You have to live in the moment. And I'm honest on the show all the time. I've been in relationships where a girl's broken up with me because I didn't live in the moment. I was worried about the future all the time. I was constantly worried about the future. I did that so much. I worried about the future. Are you going to leave me? Are you going to love me? Are we going to get married? What's going to happen? I worried and I worried and I worried and I worried and I worried, and she left. And why am I telling you that? Because I don't want you to, and that's not why that's not why my marriage ended, and it's not why my last relationship ended. But going through my life, there are relationships that ended that way. I worried and I worried and I worried and I worried, and it ended. And I don't want you to do that. Because God gave you a blessing. If you have somebody in your life that loves you dearly, right? Because you have somebody in your life that loves you dearly. You have a dog or a cat in your life that loves you dearly. You have someone or something in your life, that just, well, I shouldn't even say something because, there's people, but there's dogs, there's cats, there's birds. You have love in your life. And you need to value that love that you have in your life. You need to value it. You need to appreciate it. I mean, you could tell me, Dan, I don't have to do anything. Well, you know what? You don't have to enjoy your life. You can be negative your entire life, but what is that going to do for you? How is that going to make you better? How is that going to provide for you? Did you ever hear about Jesus walking down the street and Jesus was looking for fruit, right? He was looking, we're all a tree, and Jesus comes up to some trees and they're withered. They haven't bore any fruit, but they say to be ready, right? That's what I took from it, to be ready. When Jesus walks down your path, when Jesus comes to your home, make sure that you are a tree that has bore fruit. Do not be a withered up tree. Be a tree that has bore fruit. You said, but Dan, what if I'm withered in the sense that I am not healthy? What am I withered in the sense that I am a widow? I have been pained. I have gone through strife. I've gone through cancer. I've gone through loss. Then I am withered. No, you are not. You are not withered, because it rains on every tree. It rains on every tree. Every tree gets rain. But you can choose to bear fruit, or you can choose to wither up. See, that's what people don't understand. Life is hard. And I'm not saying that cancer's not hard. I was next to somebody in a hospital less than a week ago. Woman was going through radiation. She couldn't even sit down. And I prayed for her, and I felt terrible for her. And I thought to myself, how could I live my life if I couldn't sit down? Because her tailbone hurt. She had this pain. And I pray that God heals her, and I know that God will, because I believe in God. And I have faith in God, that God will not pain his people. That there is always something that comes beyond the pain. That the faith is the challenge. But once we have it, we're going to be okay. We are going to get rained on. Your life is going to be hard sometimes. Things are going to bother you. But what somebody says to you about you on social media, right, that hurts you. It hurts you in the moment. You have to think about it. Is it cancer? No. But even if it was, you have to think about the fact that God is going to make it rain on your life. It's going to happen. And there's not a single plant that can grow without rain and sun. It needs both. It needs the positive, the good, the reinforcement. It also needs the pain, the suffering, the adversity. I would not be the man I am today if not being beaten the way that I have been. I would not be the person that finally stood up to the bully if I had not been bullied. I would not be the person that could get up in the morning no matter what anybody throws at me if I didn't get up in the morning when people threw things at me before. There are certain things that I don't like to deal with. I woke up this morning with something that had been totally wrong, absolutely wrong, that bothered me, frustrated me, pained me. And I said to myself, why is it paining you? It shouldn't pain you. This isn't a painful thing. This is a correctable thing. This is a thing that's ridiculous. It's an inconvenience. It's wrong. It shows a level of disrespect. When I made a phone call today to try and correct the issue, the person that I thought disrespected me absolutely treated me like crap. And I've told people over and over and over again that this person is this way. And some people believe me and some people don't. But the reality of it all is I know the truth. I know the truth. And when I said to this person, hey, this is wrong, you know what they said to me? Not much of anything. They said, okay, well, we got a da-da-da-da-da. And then I said, well, this is what's going to happen if it doesn't get fixed. And then they were like, they pushed me off to somebody else. All right, call that number. See you later. I'm not dealing with it. So am I going to spend the whole day thinking that the person that I don't understand why she's been rude to me since the day I met her? And she's been nice at times, but she's been rude and she's been conniving and she's done some things that I would never do. But I said to myself, what if she's nice? It doesn't matter. She still did something bad. What if she's mean? She still did something bad. It still needs to be corrected. I'm not going to disrespect her. I'm not going to yell at her. I'm not going to swear at her. But I am going to get this fixed. And then God said to me, okay, so you're going to get it fixed. So are you going to think about it beyond those phone calls you have to make? No. You're going to spend the whole day calling your mom, calling your dad, calling your friend, calling this, calling that, saying, look at what I did, look at what I did, look at what I did. No. I'm going to do what I need to do to make everything right on my end. And I don't need that person to do the right thing because the right thing will be done. I trust that. You have to trust in God. You have to be with God. You can't just go to God. See, this is the thing. People say they don't believe in God. You know, people say, I'm atheist. I don't believe in God. Da-da-da. God doesn't exist. But then when somebody steals from you, what do they say? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Lord. Oh, God. And I'm not taking your name in vain, Jesus. I'm just saying this. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Call the cops. Somebody help me. Help me, Jesus. Right? I don't believe. I have cancer. Oh, my gosh. God, take this cancer out of my life. I didn't want to believe in you, but I believe in you now. I believe in you now because I need something. Because I want something. Right? That's no different than going to your aunt and never visiting her and never talking to her and never spending time with her until you need money. Until you need a gift. Until you want something from your auntie. That's reality. That's reality. Folks, that is reality. We go to God when we need something. We don't go to God to say thank you all the time. We don't go to God to say, I appreciate what you did. How many of us wake up in the morning and say, God, thank you for waking me up in the morning? How many people is the first thing you do? I've failed at this a billion times. I failed at this morning, right? You can wake up, you open your eyes, and I believe you're supposed to go to God first. Hey, God, thank you for waking me up this morning. What do? I grab the phone. I look at my phone, start playing on my phone. Then I say, hey, God, thank you for waking me up this morning. No. Those are backwards. Don't do them like that. Say it to God first. Thank God first. Your phone didn't wake you up today. Yes, it did, Dan. My alarm was on the phone. God woke you up. Because an alarm can go off to a dead person and they're not going to wake up. Right? God woke you up today. Remember that. Your phone didn't wake you up. Yes, it did. I set an alarm. To a dead person, an alarm has no sound. God woke you up. God said, get up, my child. God said, one more day, one more chance, one more try. He didn't wake you up to fail. He didn't wake you up to be down. He didn't wake you up to be depressed. He didn't wake you up to hate yourself. He didn't wake you up to let the world bite you and take you down. Imagine if Jesus listened to the world. Imagine if Jesus listened to what people said. He cured people and people were still like, nah, that's a magic trick. Jesus ain't real. Over 2,000 years ago, he walked the earth. He died. He gave everything he possibly could to us. And there are people that say that he did not exist. There are people that have looked me dead in the face and told me that the Holocaust didn't happen. I've had people say to me, do you believe it? Do you buy it? Do I buy it? Where do you think 6 million people went? You think they're hiding still? There are people that believe that history didn't happen because they weren't there. Right? On a big level, on a small level, there are people that don't think Michael Jordan's the greatest player ever because they never saw him play. I didn't see Hank Aaron play. I didn't see Ernie Davis play. I didn't see Jim Brown play. But does that mean that they didn't do what they did? Do you have to physically be there to see somebody do something? Because everybody claims that they're there, right? Look at Syracuse. All these people on the internet, Dan Mullen's going to be the new head coach. Dan Mullen didn't even interview for the job. But everybody knew, right? Everybody knew. Everybody knew that they knew nothing, but people just BSing because they were trying to be out there and they're trying to be first. It's all about being first. First. Jesus was not the first person that walked the earth that people thought, oh, this person's a prophet, this person knows something, right? John the Baptist. Right? There were people that had walked the earth before Jesus that people were going, oh, okay, listen to their teachings, listen to this, listen to that. Jesus wasn't first. So does that make him less than what he is? Does it make him not the Son of God? See, we're so focused on these things in life instead of realizing that you don't know people's stories. And we live in a world where people condemn people all the time. But live in the moment. Live in the moment. See, I lived in the moment yesterday when somebody came at me with a false and a hypocrisy. I could have responded. But I lived in the moment. And I said, Daniel, even if you're right, they'll take a snapshot of this social media post. They will continue to defame you and deface you. They'll take a snapshot of you defending yourself, and they will ask other people, what do you think? And they'll put you on trial. They'll put you on social media trial. You know the truth. You know what is right, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. See, it is not your job to get other people to believe you. It is your job to live in the truth you preach. Okay? There are people that say that they believe in God, and they are a follower, and they go to church every Sunday. They go to church, they go to temple, they go to synagogue, whatever. Every Sunday, every Saturday, they go and they worship. They worship. They go on Tuesday. They go on Wednesday. They go on Thursday. They go every day of the week, and they worship. And they say, you see me going into church all the time, so you know I'm a good Christian. No. I saw you go into a building for an hour. That does not make you a good Christian. It might help, but it doesn't make you a good Christian. What makes you a good Christian is what you do every hour of every day, no matter where you are. Because Christ did not say, go into this building and love me. Christ said, go wherever you go and love God. Show God. Be good to God. That is what you need to do. Living in the moment is living in the moment. Not living in some moments, not living in a moment, but living in every moment. Every moment. Everybody's got hecklers. You're on a football field, you're a wide receiver, that DB is your heckler. You're a stand-up comedian, that person drunk in the crowd, that's your heckler. You're on social media, your hecklers are right there. Right? You're working in customer service, somebody misses their flight, it's your fault. They're your heckler. They think it's your fault that they woke up late, and they're going to heckle you. We all have hecklers. I used to work in the dairy department at a grocery store, and my boss heckled me. Why don't you work faster? I had taken like 200 things off the shelves that were out of date. He wanted to know why I didn't get the new stuff on the shelf faster. I said, because I'm taking the stuff off you would have gotten sued for. This bologna could walk off the shelf itself. It's white gray. It's not even close to being pink. You want to know why my job took so long? Tell the people that are loading up the freezer to not put the milk in some type of Tetris thing that I can't get to certain stuff. And I have to climb on top of these things. Stuff that if you saw me do it, a union would have been like, absolutely not, Mr. Tortora. Get down from there. You got crowbars. You're climbing on crates. But my boss just wanted to be difficult. And then when I did a fantastic job, and here comes somebody from regional, national, and they walk in, what did my boss do? They said, wow, the dairy department looks amazing. My boss grabbed her by the arms and moved her forward. He didn't even want her to talk to me. So you're not going to always get credit for doing the right thing. You're not always going to get credit for living a good life. You are not always going to be respected for being a good person. But you should not be being a good person so that you can take pictures about it, so that you could tweet about it. You know how many people's lives are the opposite of what they show you on social media? I never thought that I would see it as firsthand as I saw it, but there was somebody on social media that I know, and I looked at their posts. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was baffled. I thought to myself, wow. This person is parading around like they have millions of dollars. They don't even have $700. They don't even have $700. And they're out here wearing mink coats, sitting in mansions, putting it on Instagram. And I thought to myself, I never thought I would know somebody that was that much of a liar. But then I thought about all the times they lied to me, and I said to myself, well, why would they stop there? They were lying small game, now they're lying big game. They lied to a person, now they lied to the world. See, liars lie. Cheaters cheat. Steelers steal. And everybody wants to cry wolf. But the reality of it all is there's a real wolf. That's the devil. And if you cry devil all the time, people aren't going to believe you. See, the reality of it all to me is if you don't live in the moment, if you don't live right now, and I am a giant culprit of not doing this right. If you don't live in the moment will pass. And when the moment passes, you find yourself praying to God for something that you can't change. God, help me to have enough time with my dog Lily because I wasted all this time. So I'm asking God to put more time on the back end because I wasted the time I have now. How about I just spend the time that I have right now? Because my dog always wants to play with me. She always wants to give me hugs. She always wants to give me kisses. She always wants to jump up on my shoulder. She wants to spend all day with Daddy. But sometimes Daddy is on the phone all day complaining about stuff that Daddy can't control. And how many of us have done that? We don't pay attention to our kids, our parents, our grandparents, our spouses, our girlfriends, our boyfriends, our fiancés, our cats, our dogs, our birds, our job. We spend time talking about things that we cannot change. We spend our lives talking about things we cannot change. I can't believe that person said that. Well, you know what? After a while, you can believe. Because some people say things, and it's out of character, and they apologize. And some people, you would be surprised if they said a nice thing, because that's out of character for them. But you know what? I go back to a quote, and I'm not a big fan of Will Smith for what he did, because he broke the barrier, and he needs to apologize, because we need to reset the barrier between entertainer and audience, because nobody needs to get up on that stage. And I feel that. I feel that because I literally go on stages and do my thing. And I pray that God protects every single one of us and heals the hearts of the crowd and the entertainers, and that we all respect each other. The song Just the Two of Us, though, I always go back to something that's in that song. Let God deal with the things they do, because hate in your heart will consume you too. Always tell the truth, say your prayers, hold doors, pull out chairs, easy on the swears. You're living proof that dreams come true. I love you and I'm here for you. I'm going to read that. I'm going to say that again. I memorized that. I'm not reading it on anything. I'll do this. Let God deal with the things they do, because hate in your heart will consume you too. Always tell the truth, say your prayers, hold doors, pull out chairs, easy on the swears. Let God deal with the things they do, because hate in your heart will consume you too. Let God deal with all this stuff that people are doing. And go live. Worried about how everybody else living, you ain't living. You got to live in the moment. You got to live in the moment. Right now. Because poof, it's gone. Where'd 1017 go? It's gone. What were you doing at 1017 just now? Let God deal with the things they do, because hate in your heart will consume you too. Do the best you can with every resource you have, and trust that the Lord will grab the rest and take care of it. Trust the best. That's God. Trust God with everything. Everything. Pray about everything, worry about nothing. I suck at that, but I'm working on it. I hope you are too. Pray about everything. Worry about nothing. Lord, please help me with all the problems that I am enduring today. Help me to deal with all the things I cannot control. Help me to find resolutions that are positive and good and fruitful. Help for wrong to not be right. Help me to secure everything that needs to be secured. Help me to heal from every pain, every problem, every ounce of suffering. Do not let the world get to me. Do not let me waste this moment. Help me to be a better me, and help everything that is in my control and out of my control to be resolved in Jesus' name. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. We'll be back right after this with the top dog of the week and Kevin Greene. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. Order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a tremendous morning this morning. It is time for us to jump into the top dog of the week. Top dog of the week, proudly presented by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. K9 Kamp Dog Daycare, located for you on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse. And their phone number is 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. You can go to the Kampgrounds, which is right down the street from K9 Kamp Dog Daycare. And that is at 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse. And you can call them at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Make sure you get in touch with them today, because if you need daycare or dog boarding for your animal, for your dog, of course, you have to call them now, because it's holiday season and you don't want to be left without a cabin for your dog if you're going to be putting your dog up for a few days, or if you just need some daycare help. So make sure you call them today. They're busy because of you, and they're wonderful at so many things, and I love the way that they treat Lily. So make sure you call them today, my top dog of the week is going to go to, honestly, it's going to go to my people. My top dog of the week is going to go to my people, my family, my friends. You know, it's funny because it's weird for me to say family and friends because my friends have become my family. So I just say family. Family related by blood and family that's not blood but is still family. My top dogs of the week are everybody that I can call. Everyone I can call when there's a tough time. Everyone that I talked to when I was in the hospital. Everybody that is there, that's got my back, that is with me 1,000 million infinity%. The people that are not yes men, not yes women, always challenge me to be the best I can be. Those are my top dogs of the week. To my mom, to my dad, to my friends, to my wonderful and incredible family, both living and up in heaven, because my grandparents are with me all the time. My friends that have passed on, they're with me all the time. My dogs, Mordu, Cinnamon, and Shady, I know they're always with me as well. So I am elated and thankful that my top dogs are with me from heaven, with me here on earth, and I can't wait to meet anyone else that's going to join my team and everybody that's going to be a part of that. So shout out to the best of the best. Thank you for picking up the phone when I call. Thank you for texting me back. Thank you for calling me up and checking in on me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for telling me when I'm wrong. Thank you for telling me when I'm right. Thank you for being by my side for everything at all times, everywhere. Thank you for having my back. Thank you for always believing the best in me and me never having to ask for you to be by my side. I appreciate you. I love you all. You are my top dogs of the week. With that being said, we're looking to have Kevin Greene here on the broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're trying to get, oh, here we go. So we have a few things that are here. So we have Kevin on 2 screens, and so I was trying to figure that out here. So Kevin's on a couple screens here, and so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move Kevin here. He's got the wrong hat on today, but that's probably why I've kept him off the screen. But I love him. I appreciate him. Always good to have Kevin on. He's wearing a different shade of green. He's wearing forest green. He's supposed to be wearing teal, but we'll forgive him for it today. Mr. Greene, how we doing? Can you hear us? Let's see here. All right, we're trying to get his audio in here. Kevin, can you hear us? I don't think he can hear us. So, we lost him here for a second. So, we're going to go ahead and pull up Kevin one more time and see if we can get him on here. So, we've had him come through a couple different times here on the broadcast, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, modern technology. So, Kevin Greene, looking to have him picture-in-picture, Syracuse Orange running back and fullback alum, so RB and FB. And we're going to speak with us on FB, on Fran Brown, the hiring of Fran Brown, and the Orange moving forward. So now we're going to bring Kevin back into the broadcast, and we'll get him set and ready to go here. Mr. Greene, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. How are you?
There he is. I'm doing well. You're very low. We got to get your volume up here. We can't hear you.
All right. Can you hear me now?
It's a little bit better. It's very low. You came through swimmingly last week.
Let's see. Maybe it's these headphones.
There we go. No, you're okay now. You're good now.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. We got you. So, Mr. Greene, Syracuse running back and fullback alum, to speak with us on the hiring of Fran Brown as well as the Orange moving forward. Kevin is no stranger to the show. Mr. Greene, how are we today?
I'm doing good, man. And I'm hopefully that when you were talking about them top dogs, that I was somewhere in the level. I may be a little poodle, I may be a beagle, but I was hoping I was somewhere in the line as one of your top dogs.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said that because I'm sitting here doing the segment, and I was like, I know Kevin can hear me right now, and I bet you he's sitting there going, "Where am I at, Dan?" So it's funny that you say that. And so this is what I will say about Mr. Kevin Greene here. Kevin, every single day, pretty much, sends me a message of positivity. He sends me a message to help me move forward, to help me grow, to challenge myself. I get these messages throughout the weeks here, and I have told him before that the messages come right on time, And there are messages he sent me that I think I've told him this. There's messages he sent me where I've cried. There's messages when I've read them. I've read them on a plane at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning when I'm traveling. You know, your messages have been huge for me. They've been something that has allowed me to challenge myself. It's allowed me to heal. It's allowed me to ask myself tough questions. It's allowed me to apologize to God. It's allowed me to open up myself to growing and learning and evolving. And so I can't thank you enough. So, Kevin, if you'd like to know if I consider you one of the people that I can go to, I absolutely do, because I have gone to you and you've always come through.
My man, my man. So, hey, let's dive into this thing. So you and I were texting back and forth all last week. I saw all the people who were saying different names that were coming out and everything. And I had a different name in the back of my mind. So I'll keep that there. You know who that was, but I'll keep that there. But then when Fran's name started to surface, reaching out to buddies of mine here in Philadelphia area, high school coaches, players, and everything, that name started to really, really ramp up. And I started to hear really strong positive vibes about him.
Yeah.
One coming from Devontae Swift, who went to Georgia, went to Detroit, and now with the Eagles. Fran was one of the guys. Well, not one of the guys. Fran was the guy that was primarily instrumental in him going down there. And there's a bunch of other players that he came out of the Philadelphia area. He's born and raised up in Camden, New Jersey. So he knows the Northeast very well. He knows that whole Northeast quarter very well. And for what I'm hearing, he's got a great relationship with all of the high school coaches at all of the big schools and the little schools here in the Northeast. So it's his first time being a head coach. He's a D-back coach, but he's a hell of a recruiter. Everything that you hear, people love him. So I think if he comes in with the right staff, the right OC, the right DC, blends in with the other coaches that he needs, his running back coach, all that thing, and if we give him a time, I'm hoping Fran can come in. Fran can be one of those guys that you and I have talked about that could be a lifer. That he's building a program and he wants to stay with the program. So I'm really excited to see this the Fran come in and take over the Syracuse University football.
Yeah, I mean, I think the things that hit me with Fran, and it's so funny because, and I called my mom up and I said this to her. I said, I guess Mama's always right. Because my mother said at the beginning of all of this, she said, Daniel, mark my words, Syracuse is going to hire somebody out of left field. They are going to hire somebody that you have no idea, and it's going to come out of nowhere. And they're just in like the 11th, they're just going to pick somebody, and it's just, and that's the thing. So, the Dan Mullen thing, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it was ridiculous in the beginning, but the Dan Mullen rumor became Dan Mullen abuse because I said Dan Mullen wasn't coming to Syracuse. I had days of people questioning my journalism, questioning me as a broadcaster, questioning 20 years of work because I don't know what I'm talking about. He wasn't even interviewed. He wasn't even interviewed. So once again, the social media broadcasters fail. And the reality of it all is, in this prognostication thing, I don't say something unless it's coming from me direct or it's coming through a source that I trust. I don't trust other people's sources because I don't know who your sources are. Your source could be it could be a butterfly. I mean, I have no idea. So when I'm going through this process and, Jason Candle had interviewed for the job, that came from sources that I've trusted. Bob Chesney being there all weekend. I reported that. Nobody else did.
Yep, I saw that.
And that came from people that I trusted. And I vetted for days before I put that out. I had heard that he was there days before I was going through the process of, okay, do I trust this? Do I trust that? So I don't just put stuff out there willy-nilly. And so hearing Bob Chesney's name, Bob made a lot of sense. Jason Candle didn't make a lot of sense. Dan Mullen made no sense. And then this name comes up, Fran Brown. And again, going to, Mama's always right. My mother said they're going to pick somebody that nobody's talking about. They're going to pick somebody that you're not even thinking about. And when it looked like it was going to be Chesney, here comes this guy in the 11th hour, Mr. Fran Brown, and boom, here you go. So then I look at everything and I say to myself, okay, he has Northeast ties. He's from Camden, New Jersey. He coached at Temple twice in Philadelphia. He coached at Rutgers out there in New Jersey. And I feel like whenever I say Rutgers, there's a bunch of Syracuse fans that go, so, but that's real. That's real. But no offense to Rutgers, I'm just telling. That's how you do Syracuse. That's how Syracuse does you. But when I hear this stuff, I was like, okay, he's got Northeast ties. Okay, that makes some sense. But the one thing that I want to kind of like pull people back on, one, because I don't want people to like be hounding Fran Brown, being like, you better be the best of the best or I'm going to go nuts. Like, the number one recruiter in the world, that's subjective. That's subjective. A website said it. Like, if I say to you that I think that Dabo Swinney is the best coach in the country above Nick Saban, right? Mm-hmm. If that was my opinion today, which it's not my opinion today, but let's just say it was my opinion today. It's funny how I brought it up as an example and I said it, and Kevin was already, he's like, no, Dan, I don't agree with that crap. Hell no. You want to talk about that today? So, no, I don't want to. But if I said that, I'm being subjective. Now, if people respect my site, and they respect my work, they respect what I do, there's a contingency of people that are going to go, all right, Dan, I'm going to ride with you. But then there's other people that are going, wait a minute, that's subjective. That's coming from you, right? This website's got this guy as a 3-star, this guy's got him as a 5-star, this guy doesn't even have him on the list. It's subjective. So I don't do any of that. Fran's the number one recruiter in the country. Blah, blah, put it over there, okay? And he recruited in Georgia. And I think it's a lot easier to recruit to a national champion in the SEC that's playing in the college football playoff. What I'm interested in Fran about is that he has Northeast ties. Yep. That is important to me. And I'd love to get your thoughts on what that could mean for the program because of the fact that they have been hiring people that just... I'm sorry,
Dan. I'm being bombarded by this guy.
You're good.
He's jumping up in my lap.
You're good. There's nothing wrong with that. That's your top dog. So, yeah, but I'd love to get your thoughts on what this does for Northeast recruiting.
No, I think that's the most important thing. Is I think for the past several years, we've lost recruits in the Northeast that we should have lost, that we should have won. We lost recruits out of Syracuse that we should have won. And I think bringing in someone that has real strong ties to the Northeast once again bring this back to a relevant winter recruiting class. I mean, you look at my recruiting class. From PA, you have Mike Owens, John Flannery, Russ, one name I can't even say, and I think you know why I can't say that name. I forgot about that. But it was quite a few guys that came in from, and Turnell came in from Ohio. You know, Blake came in from New York. Rob Moore came from New York. I mean, you had a good group of guys that came in primarily from the Northeast that could have gone to any school in the country, but we chose Syracuse for a reason. So I think, you start to bring in some relevance, a guy that can walk into the high schools and the Northeast schools, and these kids know who he is. They know his pedigree. They know his background. They know he grew up in the Northeast, so he's very familiar with everything around him. It just kind of brings that. It's not family just yet, but it brings that tie back to us, making us more relevant in the Northeast. Yeah. Where in the past, I would say 15 years, we haven't recruited the Northeast like we should have. We haven't recruited the top players in New York. We haven't recruited the top players in New Jersey. We just haven't done a lot of the recruiting there, and I don't know why. Yeah. But I'm thinking Fran is a guy that will do it, and I think he's got that personality that the kids are going to really like. And from what I'm hearing, I think he's got that personality and that skill set that he will do something that Dino never did into the ninth hour, which is build the relationship with the alumni of the university. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think Fran will be able to do to Syracuse is that he will get those guys who are sitting on the bench, who haven't come into a game, who haven't been willing to support or do anything. I think he will be able to mold that relationship again and bring that alumni basis that's itching for a coach to do that. I think Fran will be the guy to do that.
What makes you believe that Fran is going to do that for the alumni?
Having talking to a couple people that I know, high school coaches that I know. One of my old high school teammates coached my high school, and then now he's at another school. Had a conversation with Mike, and Mike just talked about the openness in the conversation he's had with Fran over the past couple of years for the kids that weren't necessarily on that level to go to Georgia, but Fran came to see them anyway, just to make sure, he wanted to see what everybody was talking about. Mike just said he was a very comfortable, very relaxing guy, easy to have a conversation with him. And in the conversations that they had with him, he was always talking about how to build trust with communities and build trust with the schools. So, I don't know him per se, knowing that he will actually do that, but just what I'm hearing and everything you hear from people, I think he probably has the openness and the willingness to do that. I don't think he's going to come in as closed-minded as Dino did. Dino came in really closed-minded about doing anything with the alumni. And what we were told is that he said he didn't think that the players were ready for that. I don't understand when you say you don't think that the players are ready to build the relationships with alumni. I don't understand how that happens. I mean, in my 4 years there, alumni came back all the time. Donnie would come back, Drum would come back, DJ would come back. Everybody, Ted, Rob Burnett, everybody came back and visited, and it was like, hey, he's back home again. So why would you not want your players, young or old, to build a relationship with and meet some of the guys that laid the pathway or build the foundation for everything that's in Syracuse right now?
Yeah, and you bring up a great point. You and I have talked about this many times, but, there's that very confusing thing about Syracuse and recent history with Dino, and even before Dino with certain coaches, is that they don't want alumni around the program. And that to me doesn't make any sense. I have been to Florida State, and I've seen the alumni. I was walking down. I was on campus at Florida State, and I'm just walking. Charlie Ward went over, jumped up on this one thing, and just started talking to fans like he was running for president. And I just remember turning over my shoulder being like, what is going on? And it's like, that's Charlie Ward, just hanging out. When I go to certain places and I hear stories about Tennessee, Tennessee has this thing where you go down and the players go out and the players go on both sides. The current players go on both sides out of the tunnel, and the alumni run out of the tunnel, and the players clap for them as they come out of the tunnel. So they're appreciating and respecting the history. How do you respect the history? How do you, as a Syracuse player right now, 18, 19, 20 years old, how does Dan Villari respect the history of what came before him if he's not allowed to meet anybody? Right. How does LaQuint Allen respect the history of Rob Drummond if he doesn't know Rob Drummond?
See, that's where I was going. You've got one of the best running backs in Syracuse history ever, literally right there in the university, Rob Drummond, and you don't allow a guy like Rob to come in and talk to some of the guys that are running backs on the team. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. And I know Rob, Rob very well. Rob's got a real bitter taste in his mouth to Dino and that regime. But you got guys that are so close right there that come in. Don McPherson is a runner-up to the Heisman, okay? That's big stuff. He's up there all the time. Yeah. And you're blocking him from having access to the kids? I don't understand that. That baffles me how a coach can do that. You talk about other schools. Let's talk about Temple. Temple's not a real big school. They haven't won a lot. But their coach, Stan Drayton, he came in 2 years ago, and the first thing Stan did was had a meeting with all the alumni old players. Mm-hmm. They're all buddies of mine. Two of them live in my development here in Delaware. They all live up and down the East Coast. My best friend, Ryan O'Neal, played quarterback and safety at Temple. He called a meeting with all the alumni players that come in because he wanted to hear what was missing, what was going on. And they have such a great following with their alumni to the current program that I wish that was something we could have at Syracuse. And like I said, it's not that Temple's just a big powerhouse, but that coach truly believes in paving a way with the old and the new and just foster that relationship. I don't see what harm that does by letting alumni come back in. And, they started to open up like the first practice of doubles. I'm sorry, a lot of us are professional working guys. We can't just start work in the middle of the day to come to our practice up there in the middle of August. That's not something we all can do. But I just think there was so much missing, and I'm hoping that Fran comes in and understands that he's got a passionate alumni base that wants to support and help in any way we can.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, and you brought up Stan Drayton, which I think is awesome because Stan and I have been around each other. I shoot him a message. Yeah, I just shot him a message yesterday actually, and so Stan, we did a special in Texas when we were down there for the American Athletic Conference kickoff. And I was just sitting there repping back and forth with him. We made a joke about returning lawnmowers, I think we did. But it was just, I had a good time with him. But he has a connection to Syracuse, right? He's got a connection back to the Cuse. And so, like you said, having a meeting with the alumni, like why would you keep, like Rob Drummond is not only part of your history, he spends his daily life training student athletes. He's built the RAPS rating system that helps them in the community with the whole with the whole country. It's got numbers of like, this is where your son or daughter is comparative to everybody playing volleyball from this age to this age in the entire country. This is where they are in this region. This is where they are in that. So, he is training student athletes. It's football. It's everything. He is helping kids every single day. He's right there in the community, helping the community. He will give the shirt off his back to anybody. So he's not only one of the greatest players that ever came through Syracuse and number 2 in yards per carry in his career behind only Ernie Davis when it comes to 300 or more carries. See, people don't know, Jim Brown had 192 carries. So it's Ernie Davis, it's Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, Rob Drummond, top 3. But if you take 300 carries or more, then it's Ernie Davis, Rob Drummond. So Rob is number 2 all time. He's down the street, and on top of everything he did at Syracuse, he's helping kids every single day, and he wants those kids to be better than he was. He wanted Mo Neal to break his yards per carry record because Mo averaged 5 yards per carry in his entire career in 4 seasons. So, there's not a nicer guy, a more caring guy, a harder working guy who's right there in the community, who's maybe 15 minutes away, and then you have a bunch of people. You got Will Hunter, who I just spoke to. You have Turnell Sims isn't too far away. You got Blake Bednar's isn't too far away. You have Scott Schwades. You have Tim Green, who just having him come into a room would make everybody...
That will blow your mind.
Right.
Will blow your mind.
So it's like... And all these people are sitting there. You got Donnie Mack, who's done a million things for the school, and he's there. There is this reality that you have you have people not, and it's not just like call them in and fly them in. You have people living in your community that want to help you, that want to be there, that are practically begging you to let them in. And then they got to a point like Rob where he goes, you know what? I know what I did at Syracuse. People know what I did at Syracuse. I know who I am as a man. I'm not going to go beg the university to open the door for me. And, there's some terrible stories that I have of alumni that talked up the program, talked up the school, talked up everything, brought their wife and their daughter, went to the door of the facility, knocked on it, said, hey, said their name, and they told that person, leave. And they said, well, I just want to come through. And they said, you're not allowed. And he's like, I just spent 5 hours in the car telling my family about everything that Daddy did and everything that your husband did at Syracuse. And he literally told me that they shut the door and told him he couldn't come in.
I heard that same exact story. And that's what I'm talking about. How do you do that to people? That to me is just, it's just totally disrespectful. It's the lack of respect for anything that he did, we've all done for the program is totally disrespectful. And I don't understand how you can tell somebody no, they can't come walk through and show their family a locker room to say, when we were here, we didn't have this vending machine. We didn't have all this weight room stuff. We didn't have all this stuff. oh my God, the TV room, when we were here, we had a big old box TV that sat there. These guys got monitors everywhere. How do you turn someone away that paved the way for those kids to be there? How do you do that? And not just that, how do you have coaches, you send them names of kids that are being recruited by I told you the story, by the Georgias of the world, the Florida States of the world, the Virginias of the world, the Virginia Techs of the world, and you guys don't even place a phone call. You tell me that you called them, but when I talk to the father and the kid, they're like, Kev, they never called us.
Yeah. And there are legacy players that, and not saying because you're a legacy player you're good, but there have been legacy players that I've talked to their parents who are phenomenal at Syracuse, and they said, Dan, my son's in the transfer portal, and this guy told me that the coach was going to call, and he didn't call.
Yep.
So and I asked again, and they didn't call. I mean, there are people that are coaching. There are alumni of the Syracuse football program that are coaching high school football right now that have called Syracuse and said, I got a tailback for you, I got a running back for you, I got a offensive lineman for you, and they never got a call back. So not only are they shutting out alumni, not only are they shutting out legacies, but they're shutting out recruiting in the DMV area. I mean, it was insane, everything that was happening. I had a coach in Division 1A FBS football call me up. I remember exactly where I was. In Syracuse, New York, when I was on the phone with this person. And they said to me, what's going on the Hill? He goes, what's happening at Syracuse? I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, a bunch of us are talking in the profession. A bunch of us coaches are talking. And I said, well, they've shut out the alumni. They don't recruit locally. Their assistants aren't allowed to talk to anybody, so fans don't even know what they look like. So I was like, there's no connection to the community. There's a disconnect between alumni. They're not recruiting locally. And they said to me, not nothing, Dan, but that is the perfect recipe to kill a program. And that was coming from an FBS head coach who had talked to other coaches and called me up and said, what is going on at Syracuse? What can you tell us about why they're doing what they're doing? Because this is the opposite of a successful model. It looks like they're trying to kill their program. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget that conversation. So my hope with Fran is that, not that, oh, he came from Georgia, whatever. That's all well and good. My hope for Fran is that he really does know the Northeast, and he really does care about the Northeast, and he doesn't see, I'm sick and tired, as somebody who was born and raised in Syracuse, I am sick and tired of seeing people go to Rutgers, UConn, Boston College, Pittsburgh, Penn State, UMass, on and on and on and on, that don't even have offers from Syracuse. It's not even that Syracuse lost, right? Syracuse went head-to-head with Penn State, and they lost a battle. There's not even an offer. And if somebody comes from the state of New York and they're not offered by Syracuse, Servassier Dennis, and they go to the ACC, Servassier Dennis, and they're ACC linebacker of the week multiple times, Servassier Dennis, and they win an ACC championship, Servassier Dennis, and then they go and play in a New Year's Six Bowl that I was on site for, Servassier Dennis, and now they're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer in the NFL, Servassier Dennis, who never got an offer. And then when I give people these facts, what do they say to me? Well, Dan, that's one kid. Georgia's got 80 of them. Florida's got 75 Servassier Dennises. That's their argument to me is, Dan, it's one person. It's not one person. I can name people throughout history that Syracuse has passed on. And my alma mater that Servassier went to, of Christian Brothers Academy, they had over 20 schools this year go on campus and meet the kids. And there are a ton of kids that are offered, and those offers go out to 2025. And I don't believe that I've seen Syracuse offer the majority of those kids.
Wow, that's disappointing. That's truly disappointing. But I would say to those people that say Georgia's got 40, Florida State, yeah, because the recruiting hotbed in Georgia and Florida, it's really hard. That's really, really good players. So you're right. Those kids may not get offered to go to the Florida States or to Georgia but they're going to get offers to go to Florida, or they're going to get offers to go to Georgia Tech, or they're going to get offers maybe to go to Mississippi State. They're still getting opportunities to go to big-time schools to be recruited. The reason why I think Fran will fit is so when the I'm born and raised in Philly. I wear my Eagles. I support my Eagles proudly. When the Eagles had their bye week, there was a video out there of Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Jordan Davis at the Georgia game, and I can't remember who Georgia was playing, but there's a picture of Fran and Nolan Smith jumping, doing a high chest bump to each other. Okay, so for me, I know Georgia allows all their old alumni players to come back. They all get field access to every game. All they got to do is call in. They get field access to everything. So I think Fran is around the team, or was around the culture of a University of Georgia where they accepted their alumni, that they have a huge alumni base. So I think he saw how a program truly is supposed to work. So that's why I say I'm thinking and hoping he brings that same culture and mentality with him to Syracuse.
I just have to say that the whole time you said Philadelphia Eagles, I just wanted to do this.
I know you did. I know you did. I know you did. I know you did.
But I did say, and Rob can vouch for me on this. I said this past week when they played Buffalo, I said, yo, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about any arguments. The Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in football because they do not die. They're out of games. They come back. They win. I think I had a dream that they came back and won the game this week. I mean, they literally just never stop being in a game. And I know that Kansas City does it, but they don't do it as well as Philly does it. I mean, Philly is just they're a different bird this year. I mean that, pun intended. They're just they are to me, it's not Kansas City. It's not, I love my Jaguars. It's not Kansas City. It's not Jacksonville. It's not San Fran. The team that the nation has to beat is Philadelphia.
Yeah, but we're also the team that the nation doesn't give any credit to.
Which I
mean,
get.
you listen to all the national pundits out there. All they talk about is after each Eagles game is how the other team blew the game and how we were lucky to come back and win. Jalen Hurts has been phenomenal every week. This kid has so much pressure put upon him, but you never see him crack. You don't see him on the sidelines going off or doing anything. You see him sitting down. He's nice, calm, cool, and collective. And when it's time to go back out in the field, he does his thing. He did it against Kansas City. He did it against Dallas. He did it against Buffalo. We've got a big test coming up this week from San Francisco. Trust me, I don't take San Francisco lightly at all. That defensive line is stacked with all number one first-round draft picks. So this week is going to be a tough game. And then myself and the fellas, we're flying to Dallas for the Dallas game next week. So my hope is that we beat San Fran, we go into Dallas. If we lose to Dallas next week, I'm cool with it because we'll still be up in the rankings. But I want us to beat Dallas because I know Mike's watching. I'm tired of hearing Mike Owens text me about the Cowboys. I'm tired of EJ Dodell texting me stuff about the Cowboys. So, yeah, EJ, I know you're watching because you already texted me. You heard me saying right now, I want us to beat San Fran, and then I want a vacation in Dallas because it won't matter because we will already have the division locked up. But trust me, I want us to smack the Cowboys around.
Well, and the thing is the Cowboys got to be hoping, man, that San Fran gets this dub this weekend because the Cowboys need a couple things to happen to win this division. Let me ask you this. I know you're an Eagles fan. I know you love your Eagles, but I got to be, I want you to be impartial on this. Are the Cowboys a contender or are they still pretending?
All right, let's go back to last night.
Okay.
Dak's on fire. Dak's probably playing the best football right now he's ever played in his 8 years outside of his rookie year when he led the league in touchdowns and no interceptions. So Dak's playing really good. I think Micah's a beast. You've got to – I think what the Eagles did – and I'm going to answer your question – but I think what the Eagles did and while we were successful in beating Dallas is because we took Micah completely out the game. We ran at Micah. So if you run at Micah, you take away his pass rush. So I think that's why we were successful in the things we did there. I think Dak's playing good. I think they're starting to have a little bit of run game. Yes, I think they are a formidable opponent.
Yeah.
they always do good in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, it's where they struggle.
Yeah.
So I think they've got a great defensive line. The kid Bolin, the cornerback that's got the pick six record, I think he's good. But I think DK Metcalf showed him last night how he can be taken advantage of. I think A.J. Brown, in my opinion, is probably one of the best wide receivers in the game. I think if you put Bolin on A.J. one-on-one, I think A.J. will school him. Because A.J. is a little bit bigger, like DK can. A.J. can box him out a little bit on some of these routes. So, no, I never count Dallas out. Yeah. You know, as an Eagles fan, they are our biggest rival. If you listen to Philly sports radio next week, you're going to hear some stuff you never heard before because it's Dallas week. When it's Dan, we could be 0-16.
Yeah.
But it's Dallas week.
Yeah.
And it's like we're playing for our Super Bowl. That may be crazy, but we just hate the Cowboys as Eagles fans.
Well, you know, and that's the thing, man. That's what I love. And that's what I tell people all the time is, you know, I mean, I even looked at the fact and I said the Chargers are playing New England, and I don't think New England in fantasy or reality has anything to write home about. But I was like, if you want to play somebody in fantasy football, you might want to put Hunter Henry out there because guys play their old teams and there's just something about it. I mean, they could be 115 years old, but they play their old team and that's the game that they go off. That's the game where it's like 115 yards, Hunter Henry. And even if the team loses 38-3, you're like, how in the hell did he get that many? Because he's playing the team that he's not with anymore. Here's the thing, though. We talk about Northeast recruiting, and we're talking about Dallas, and we're talking about the NFL, and we're talking about the Eagles. Micah Parsons is from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So Dino would have lost him. And, you know, a lot of other guys here would have not paid attention to him. But maybe this is where Fran goes, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's funny that defending my hometown, defending the kids that I talk to all the time, defending the state of New York, and defending the Northeast has caused a lot of people to be like, yay, Dan, and a few people to spend hours, days, just ripping on me. And I said, if your biggest problem with me is that I love my city, I love the kids, and I will do anything to help my community, well, then I'm happy to be your problem. You know, I mean, I'm not going to, and I don't say, and I'm not sitting here saying, you know, Syracuse Orange football should have 100 players from Syracuse, New York. I'm not saying that. My argument was they can't have 3. They can't have 2. You know, I mean, I'm looking at just CBA, just my alma mater. I'm looking at just Greg Paulus, John Phillips, Noah Jordan Williams, Sire Torrance, Bruce Williams, LeVar Lobdell, Stevie
Who's the
Scott,
running back that went to Michigan? Mike
Hart, that was from Onondaga County. But, I mean, you look at Latavius Murray's from Onondaga County. Dorsey Levens played at Nottingham. I mean, it's just Tyler Days was out at CNS. Tyler Rouse was at Beeville. You know, Arthur and Chandler Jones. There's nobody in New York, Dan. There's no one in upstate New York. Chandler and Arthur Jones came from the southern tier in the Binghamton area, and they came from Union Endicott. It's not a big area. You know what I mean? And it's like people complain there's nothing to do in Syracuse. Binghamton is really small and quaint, and there's beautiful things about it, but it's like that's a smaller area. And they went and found Chandler and Arthur. The reality of it all is, you know, if the mentality is not to come to New York, not to look in the Northeast for recruiting, then Ernie Davis was never going to be on Syracuse because Ernie was in Elmira when they found him. He's the Elmira Express. He wasn't the Express. He was the Elmira Express. So, you know what I mean? It's like you look at Jay Bromley, 1 offer, Syracuse, 0 stars, 3rd-round pick in the NFL, came from the New York City area. You look at Justin Pugh, Pennsylvania, told he was too short, arms weren't long enough, just got called off the couch to go back to the NFL, spent a decade in the NFL. You know, I mean, Mackie McPherson, not big enough, can't play center, 3,000-yard backs in his 4 seasons at Syracuse, and they went bowling. I mean,
Yep.
and he's from Central New York. Riley Dixon played at CBA, still punting in the NFL, which is one of the hardest jobs to get, is a punter or a kicker or a long snapper, because if you're good, they keep you for 15 years. It's been proven wrong over and over and over again. But Kevin, we live in a world where fake news rules the day, and people are literally allergic to facts.
Agreed. Let's look at when we came. Turnell came from Ohio, got recruited by Ohio State hard. He chose Syracuse. You know, it's just something about when you get to that campus on our recruiting trip and you met the guys there. It was just something about the bond that we all had on our recruiting trip. My recruiting trip, I'll never forget, December 7th, 1986. It was freezing cold up there. They were practicing for the Cherry Bowl, and we were standing outside. Recruiting trip. My hosts were David Holmes and the late great Marcus Paul. Yeah. Those were the two guys that hosted me, and then I also spent a lot of time with Bubba Roland Grimes, walking around campus with him a little bit as well. It was just the vibe that I got from those guys that was just like, man, this place is in the middle of nowhere. It's freezing cold up here, but you just got that feeling that something was building, something was going on. And you look at our recruiting class, 6 of us came from the Big 33. I mean, you just look, we all came up there. We all had that same connection. In those 5 years that we were there, we beat every SEC team that we played. You know, we were the boys from up the Northeast that nobody respected. But when we came and played, we punched you in your face. Ted Gregory, Rob Burnett, Paul Fraze, I mean, Donnie, Blake. You know, it was just a big group of guys that bonded with one another no matter what happened. And there's no reason why Fran can't bring that in. The thing I think about Fran, though, is you talked about Micah. I think Fran would be that recruiter or coach that would say, yeah, I'm from Syracuse, but I'm going to come sell you hard anyway. I'm going to come sell you on everything that we have to offer. Where I think the past regime and some coaches may not have gone after some of the big kids because of who we were. I think Fran's that guy that can say, you know what? Boom, I'm a kick in the door. Okay, you got Georgia, you got Ohio State, you got Michigan, you got West Virginia, you got Maryland, you got Rutgers, you got everything. Don't forget about us. And I think that's the level of attitude that he's going to bring that are going to open the eyes to a lot of recruits.
Well, and here's my thing. Speaking here with Kevin Greene, Syracuse running back and fullback alum here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Greg Schiano's getting him to go to Rutgers.
Yep.
Maryland's getting better. James Franklin, a few years ago, they wanted him to get fired. He's making it happen at Penn State. So here's my question. I mean, let's be real about this. If they're going to Maryland, if they're going to Rutgers, Jeff Hafley, I don't know if he knows what he did. But Jeff Hafley came in to Syracuse, and before the BC game, he offered Syracuse kids from Christian Brothers Academy. He came into the city, went into Dino's backyard, looked right at Syracuse, smirked, said, offer, 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 take it, kids. Here you go. I love you even if they don't. He beat you in recruiting, and then he beat you on the field. BC beat Syracuse twice that weekend. BC should not be getting the player. UConn is independent. How in the hell are they out recruiting Syracuse in the state of New York? So, I mean, to me, it's like you look at this and then you're like, damn, they're not that good. They went to a bowl game last year. So, I mean, UConn, and Rob has told me this. He's like, Dan, Syracuse hasn't called me over the years, but BC called me. UConn called me. It's like Randy Etzel called me when he was coaching. Speak to this guy, speak to that guy. He's like, I just want the kids to be happy, and I want them to be successful. If Syracuse isn't going to call me, I'm going to send them wherever I'm going to help them get to wherever they need to get to have their dreams realized. Mm-hmm. We're not talking that Syracuse has to beat Georgia. We're not talking about that Syracuse has to beat Florida. We're saying that Syracuse should be beating Rutgers. Syracuse should be beating out Penn State at least once or twice. Should be beating out Pittsburgh. Pat Narduzzi's having a heyday because Pat Narduzzi comes in here and he takes the players from Central New York. He took Servassier Dennis. He'll come in here and take the guys. He'll go into Pennsylvania and go, oh, Syracuse isn't here? Cool, more for me. I mean, Pitt, Rutgers, Maryland, BC, UConn, Syracuse should be beating these teams. It shouldn't even be a question. They should be a threat to these teams. The university at Buffalo in the MAC out-recruits Syracuse in the state of New York. They recruit kids that Mike Washington Jr., Buffalo running back, has the second longest carry in Buffalo Bulls history. And I think he had over almost 700 yards rushing last season. Sat in my office with me just a few months ago before the season started. Mike Washington Jr. went to CNS, Cicero North Syracuse. He got a phone call from Syracuse that said, hey, keep doing well, buddy. Like your stuff. Keep trying. No offer. He goes to Buffalo, and a man is setting history in Buffalo, and 2 hours away from Syracuse, never got an offer. The most he got was, saw your film, keep working hard. So, I mean, to me, it's just uncanny. And when they say they don't build players out of here, man, there are running back upon running back upon running back that did not come to Syracuse.
You got to own your backyard. I don't care where else you recruit. You have to own your backyard.
Right.
That's a given.
You think Massachusetts doesn't own Massachusetts? You think that UMass and BC aren't recruiting that area? You think that Wyoming isn't recruiting Wyoming? You think North Dakota is going to Texas and going, come to play for us in North Dakota where it's negative 37 degrees? No, they're going to their kids there. They're building kids there. They're building names there. And that to me, it's the 6-hour radius. Coaches that are successful will tell you 6-hour radius. And then fans will go, nah, Dan, we got to go to Florida. We got to go to Texas. We got to go to California. Okay, well, everybody's going there. Everybody's going there.
Yeah, you can go to Florida. You can go to California. You can go to Texas. But own that 6-hour radius first, then go outside there.
Right. Nobody's saying don't go there. Right. It's just realize the fact that – and again, 6-hour radius. Syracuse, you're not going to out-recruit Florida State in the state of Florida because they respect their 6-hour radius. You're not going to out-recruit UCF, who's been recruiting phenomenally despite their multiple coaching changes. You're not going to – Scott Frost did it. Josh Heupel did it. Now Gus Malzahn's doing it. UCF is in Orlando. Who would not want to go and play at a university that is 15 minutes from Disney? Let's be real. Universal Studios, all that stuff. I have been on campus many times at UCF. It is, I believe, at this point, the largest campus in America because they added downtown areas because it was them, Wisconsin, and another place. But largest campus in the country, in Paradise. Yep. I mean, come on. FAU, you got a kid and you say to them, hey, FAU wants you, Syracuse wants you. Well, FAU, hey, your parents can come see you play. Your grandparents can come see you play. You played here all your life. I mean, FAU's got a part to do that. If you own your – think about it like this. People are like, well, how are you supposed to sell Syracuse to kids that were born in Florida? If you sell it to people born in Connecticut and in Boston and in Syracuse, New York, and in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, they haven't known any different. They only know snow and ice and 6 months of cold. You don't have to sell these 6-hour radius kids, I'm coming to Syracuse, because they dealt with it. And by the way, Boston College plays outside. Maryland plays outside. Pittsburgh plays outside. Penn State plays outside. Rutgers plays outside. Hello, not only...
We play in a dome!
Right. So you're going to reach out to the kids that are used to practicing in the cold, and you're going to tell them that they get to play half of their games inside when it's cold outside.
Right. And being in the ACC, you're going to play the remainder of most of your away games in the warm part of the country.
Right.
So a 12-game schedule, you may get 6 games at home. You're going to get 2 in North Carolina. You get 1 in Florida. You get 1 in Georgia.
California.
So you're playing in warm climate areas. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So it's I think we just figured out recruiting. Recruit to the kids in the Northeast. Tell them every other Northeast school that's recruiting you doesn't play inside. And so you'll practice inside, but you'll play your games inside. So you'll be warm for half the season. We'll control the weather no matter what. And then the other half of the season, you're going to go to Tallahassee. You're going to go to Raleigh. You're going to go to Charlotte area. You're going to go to California. You poor, oh my gosh, you're going to go to Virginia. It might be 60. You're going to have to go down to Atlanta, Georgia. I feel terrible for you guys. I mean, if I was recruiting right now, I would be like, bro, we have controlled climate for 6 games or 7 games. Then we get to go play in Paradise So the worst you're going to have to do is practice outside. Oh, wait, but if the weather's really bad, we have the Ensley Center. So you can come to Syracuse, and Florida State and Florida and Georgia and Texas are all going to say, why would you want to go up there? It snows all the time. You're only going to have to deal with the snow when you walk to your car, when you walk to practice, and when you have to go to class on campus. Outside of that, you're in a controlled environment to a controlled environment, and then you play in the South. You poor, unfortunate soul.
I think we just clinched it right there. Every kid that's out there that's being recruited, we need to show them this video and say, here's why you need to come to Syracuse.
Yeah, hey, Fran, I'm available, bro. I'm here. So.
Hey, bro, I'm a phone call away. Just pick up the phone. So moving forward, where are we going? Are we going to Austin? Are we going to Tampa? Are they coming up here to Annapolis? Are we going to Boston? Are we going to New York? Where's a brother going to be spending his weekend at right before Christmas? Help a brother out. I don't want to go. Trust me. Let me take a second. I don't want to go back to New York, but if I got to go back to New York, I'll go to New York. I don't want to go to Boston if I don't have to go to Boston. I would love to go to Austin.
Yeah.
I would love to go to Tampa. Yeah. So come on, you're the man with all the scoops. Where are we going to be on December 23rd?
So, I mean, you look at these bowl games, right? And so there's the Gasparilla. I'm looking at them right now, the ACC ones. So you got the Gasparilla Bowl, which is down in Florida. You have the Birmingham Bowl, which is in Alabama. You have the Military Bowl. Then, so I'm looking at the cities right now. So we have Boston, New York City, Annapolis, Charlotte, Atlanta, Birmingham, Jacksonville, shout out Jaguars, Orlando, and South Florida. I am a believer. Now, I don't know if this exists anymore because 6-6 is like the new 8-4. But when you're 6-6, you were punished. They're like, you can go to a bowl game, but you're gonna have to freeze your behind off. I'm not sending you to Florida unless you win 8 games. So, but here's the thing: because they have so many teams and they have to find all this space and they got to figure things out. Okay, the ACC has a bunch of teams that are bowl eligible.
We have 11.
We've
got 11 eligible, and
we're
contracted. We're contracted to what? 12 bowls or 11 bowls?
Yeah. So we have. Let me see this really quick here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 12 bowls. Yes. So there's 12 bowls. There are Florida State, Louisville, NC State, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Clemson, North Carolina, Duke, Miami, Boston College, and Syracuse. So there's 11 for 12 bowls. Now, if I'm looking at this in Florida State, now, if Florida State wins out, I don't care what anybody says, okay? They wouldn't do this to Ohio State. They wouldn't do this to Michigan. They wouldn't do this to Georgia. They wouldn't do it to Alabama. Remember when Tua got hurt? So if Jordan Travis is not your quarterback, then and they go undefeated and they win the ACC championship, then Tate and the gang need to be in the college football playoff. I don't care what anybody says.
Hold that, because I'm glad you said that. Okay. So you're saying if Florida State wins out, they don't have their starting quarterback, they beat Louisville tomorrow night, you saying that they deserve to be one of the top 4 teams to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, not that I don't disagree with you, but what you're going to have is you're going to have a 73-10 game.
Right.
Because whoever they play, whether they play a Georgia, whether they play a Washington, or whether they play a Michigan, they're going to get smacked around because they don't have a true quarterback. They don't have their quarterback to really drive that offense. So that defense is going to get burnt out because that other team is going to be on the field all day long. So I say they may deserve to be there because of their record.
Yeah.
But in the semifinal national championship game, do you want a score of 56-7, 73-10? Do you want a true blowout game?
I don't, and I understand that argument, and this is where I throw it back. Everybody's on Ohio State's jock, right? I shouldn't say everybody, but the committee's been on their jock for a long time. Ohio State scored this many points against Clemson in one of the college football playoff games. Unless you can score negative points, you can't go lower than 0. Washington got blown the hell out. Last year, TCU deserved to be there. TCU beat a Big Ten team to move on, and TCU was done in the first quarter. So
of the national championship game.
National championship game. And keep in mind, too, when Joe Burrow went up against Trevor Lawrence, LSU embarrassed Clemson after Clemson had won. So there's no guarantee that the good teams with all the healthy players aren't going to get blown the hell out. So my thing is, I don't believe in punishing a school for something that's out of their control. And I don't think they would do it to Michigan. I don't think they would do it to Georgia. They haven't done it to Alabama, right? Alabama, it's like, okay, next quarterback will come up. And what's to say? Florida State is supposed to be good at recruiting, right? I believe in Mike Norvell. I covered him at 4 years in Memphis. I've had him his whole time at Florida State. I told Florida State fans when he got hired, you got a gem. Just keep your mouth shut and let him do his job. Don't be going crazy on this man. Let him be what he needs to do.
He messed up the first 2 years he was there by running his mouth and doing things he wasn't supposed to do. Well, that's here for another conversation.
Right. In the COVID year, and not playing certain games, whatever. But you look at Florida State, and the mentality of what Florida State has been, the reality of what Florida State has been, is that their fifth-string quarterback could start on any FBS team, most FBS teams. So I'm not saying Tate's a bad player, but I'm not going to punish Jordan Travis, punish the Florida State Seminoles because, again, they wouldn't do it to Michigan. They wouldn't do it to Ohio State. Now, if you want to talk with – so that's my argument because I totally understand what you're saying, but there's also truth to the fact that there's teams that have deserved to be there and not deserved to be there that have gotten blown. Notre Dame's been there twice. Notre Dame has been an embarrassment in the college football playoff both times, and they had –
Okay, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. Say Alabama beats Georgia tomorrow night, SEC championship game, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't think there's no way Georgia is going to drop from 1 to 5.
No, they're not.
So Georgia still will be in there. Mm-hmm. Well, then now Alabama is a one-loss team. Beat Georgia. Georgia's now a one-loss team. Mm-hmm. So do you think that Alabama should get in over Florida State, even though Florida State won? Remember, it is the best 4 teams in the country. Yeah. It's not what team won their conference championship. Right. It's the best 4 teams in the country. So if Alabama beats Georgia, Florida State beats Louisville, mm-hmm. Michigan beats Purdue. So then it's Michigan, Alabama. Oh, and then Washington beats
Oregon.
Mm-hmm. The committee's got a really, really tough decision to make there. There's a one-loss Alabama who beat Georgia. Do they jump a Florida State team?
I love that you brought this up because I have put a lot of thought into this. Michigan does not deserve to be where they are right now.
Oh, here we go.
They don't. They do not. Because Michigan and Ohio State play a BS non-conference schedule most of recent history. Now coming up in 2024, 25, 26, they actually have a good non-conference. Thank the good Lord that they're actually going to play somebody that they can't blow the hell out. So, but when we look at Michigan, I'm going to tell you Michigan's schedule because I can cut and paste this thing in the last 3 years. I could blind you this.
Just tell me their out-of-conference games, and then go look at Alabama's out-of-conference games.
Okay. Well, but who does Alabama play in their conference? Michigan is not – the Big Ten is not a threat, okay?
All right.
So East Carolina wasn't a threat. UNLV wasn't a threat. Bowling Green wasn't a threat. Rutgers wasn't a threat. By the way, Michigan started their first 4 games at home. Michigan and Ohio State have done – I think Ohio State a few years ago had 5 straight home games. They played 8 home games. 8. Most teams play 6. They played 8 home games, and they started the season. They didn't have to leave for like the first month. Well, this year, Michigan, 4 straight at home, no ranked teams. 2 on the road, not a ranked team. Then at home, not a ranked team. Then on the road, not a ranked team. Then at home, not a ranked team. Then Penn State was ranked too high because Penn State is ranked 10th in the country. They played 1 ranked team. They played Iowa. And then at Maryland, not a ranked team. Then they played Ohio State, and people go, oh, it's a number 2 versus number 3 in the country. These are 2 of the best teams in the nation. These are 2 teams that beat a bunch of teams that weren't ranked. They beat non-threats. The American Athletic Conference, Tulane could go undefeated and beat Oklahoma, and they're not even going to be in the top 15.
True.
But when Michigan and Ohio State play nobody, home, road, they get put in it because they were set up in the preseason to be there. Michigan is not a threat to me. This is what I want. If I had my college football playoff this year my way, and keep in mind, folks, I have no dog in the race. I have no hate for Michigan. I respect their players. They make it to the NFL. They're tremendous. They recruit incredibly. I'm just calling a spade a spade.
Okay.
Georgia deserves to be there because Georgia plays in the SEC, and if Georgia has one loss, they've proven they're going to go to the national championship most of the time. Okay. Alabama deserves to be there if they beat Georgia because the only team that they lost to was Texas. But here's my monkey wrench. Here is my monkey wrench.
Texas?
If any of the teams, they're 11-1. If any of the teams lose, because you can't battle head to head here. If any of the top 4 teams lose, and Alabama beats Georgia and Texas beats Oklahoma State, Texas has to jump Alabama because Texas beat them head to head. Now, if I had it in a perfect world, it would be Georgia, Washington, Texas, and Alabama, because that's going to be some good-ass games. Now, the reason why I don't have Florida State when I just argued for them is because it's not Jordan Travis. And if I want to see the best of the best, now I'm saying they shouldn't punish them, but if I'm on the committee and I'm sitting down and I'm looking at Michigan's schedule going, and then I'm looking at Georgia, and I'm looking at, remember they wrote off Alabama? Was it 4 weeks into the season? Yep. Alabama is trash. They're done.
Because Monroe hadn't developed as a quarterback yet, and they switched back and forth for quarterbacks. Now he's playing great football as a quarterback.
Right. So this is how I look at it. You got a 12-1, arguably. You got a 12-1 Alabama. You got a 12-1 Georgia. You got a 13-0 Washington. And you got a 12-1 Texas. Michigan, girl, bye. I mean, what am I supposed to say? Michigan, really? They got to go back in for another year to get embarrassed? Wait, hold on. How many championships has Michigan won in the college football playoff? Wait, before that, how many did they win in the BCS in recent history? How many championships weren't they sign stealing and stuff? I mean, how about this sign? Can you steal this one? Can you steal this? Get the hell out. Can you steal that sign? I mean, they're going to try and find a way to put Ohio State in. Well, if Florida State loses and Washington loses, then Ohio State didn't play Alabama and Texas didn't play Ohio State, but Ohio State's a really cool team, and we love you guys. So let's find a way to – remember last year Tennessee was fighting? There was all these teams that were fighting. Tennessee lost at the end, and they were trying to get Ohio State and Michigan both in. And then 2 teams lost, and they had 2 losses, and the committee was like, perfect.
Yep.
This is beautiful.
Answer this, though.
Yeah.
I don't think the conference championship game should really matter. I think it's about your regular 11 or 12 game season. I think that should matter as to who are the best 4 teams in. I don't think it should be about. I don't think the conference championship games really should have that much weight into the decision as to who goes in. That's just my personal opinion. Well, I think it's all about what you did during the regular season.
Well, here's my thing. It's who you play, though. Like, your non-conference should hold so much weight, right? It should hold a lot of weight. And you're going to see a special with American Athletic Conference Commissioner Mike Oresco, who's been on the show for 11 years now. And we're doing a special presentation today, so make sure you tune in for it on all of our wonderful channels. Mike and I discuss what the American played this year. They played Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma. What did they play? They play Oklahoma? I think they played Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan. Like, he read off the list, and he said to me, is there anybody that we missed? Like, we played literally who people consider the best teams in the nation, the potential, like, teams that can knock somebody off in the nation. When I look at non-conference, you have to do something that is, like, the American knows. We're not going to get respect for playing in the American, even though Cincinnati should have been in the college football playoff twice, not once.
Yep.
And UCF should have been in the college football playoff twice. So, and by the way, if somebody can show me in history where a team goes undefeated loses their entire coaching staff and goes undefeated that year with an entire new coaching staff. I mean, I don't think it's ever happened in the history of any sport ever, not just football. So
Was that UCF, right?
Yeah, UCF did it when they went from Scott Frost to Josh Heupel, and I was covering the team during that time. I've covered them for a decade, so I witnessed the impossible to a lot of people. Here's my thing. Your non-conference schedule, this is how I look at it. The American plays a bunch of teams that are not ranked. The Big Ten plays a bunch of teams that are not ranked. Michigan and Ohio State are number 2 and 3. SMU can't even get in the top 25. That doesn't make any sense to me. There is obviously a disproportionate level of let's take care of these guys, screw those guys. And that's the reality, and it's not fair. The SEC is different. The SEC, put the Big Ten in the SEC. Put Ohio State in the SEC. Put Michigan in the SEC. Put Michigan State in the SEC. Put Rutgers. Put Maryland. There are teams that would not win. I mean, Vanderbilt would look like a friggin' glory child if you put Maryland and Rutgers in those teams in there.
Hold on. You put Ohio State and Michigan
in the
SEC with the recruiting classes that those guys have, they would be I think they would be successful.
But would they be beat Alabama, beat Georgia, beat a good Florida, beat LSU, beat Texas A&M consistently? Are they 8-4? Are they 6-6? Are they 7-5? Are they 10-2? Are they 12-0? See, that's the question. Because the other side of it too is the ACC doesn't get a lot of credit. It's like Clemson or bust. But the ACC, when the bottom of your conference is beating the top of your conference, that says something to the strength. And when people don't believe that, I go back to the old Big East basketball. When they're like, oh, the Big East is trash. They're not the ACC. They're not the SEC. Look at these teams losing to the teams at the bottom of the barrel. And then they would get into the tournament, and they were the ones that were lasting. Because, and what did they used to say outside of UConn the one year that they did it? They said, if you are in the Big East and you win the Big East tournament, you're not going to win the NCAA tournament because you got beaten the hell out of you all the way to the NCAA tournament. Like going through the Big East was so much that by the time you got to the NCAA, you had too many bruises, too many broken bones to go any farther. So when I look at the SEC, I mean, listen, again, I don't have a dog in the race. The SEC is the best conference in the nation. The Big Ten is trying to become something that is enticing to the SEC, because I said this over 2 years ago, when the SEC separates itself. The Big Ten's argument to the SEC is take us with you. Why? Well, you have Southern Middle and Southern East. We have Northern Middle and Northern East, and we just took the West Coast. If you can get Clemson and Florida State, SEC, and we'll go grab Notre Dame, there's no one that's going to deny that us two conferences together aren't going to give a true national champion because we have every major product within our two conferences. The Big Ten is trying to grow to a place of notoriety, and that's why they went after those Pac-12 schools, because they got a bunch of fluff in their conference. But the SEC doesn't have fluff. The ACC, I mean, I look at it, outside of Syracuse this year, and Wake Forest lost their quarterback because Notre Dame's new recruiting tool is to just wait for someone. This is Notre Dame's quarterback recruiting. Let the ACC build them and then go pluck them from the ACC. The ACC has now it's now become a farmer's market for Notre Dame. So,
but that's the portal, though. That's the portal. That's open for anybody. I get it, but that's the portal. That's how the portal is right now. Notre Dame hasn't been able
to build and develop a quarterback in many years by themselves. They wait for somebody else to build and develop their quarterback. Yep. But when you look at the way that things are set up, I look at the SEC and the challenges that come within the SEC, and the fact that like a 2-loss Tennessee team last year probably would have been more fun to watch in the college football playoff than a no-loss Michigan team. So, to me, if we want to see the best in football, I'm happy we're expanding because the at-large is going to knock a bunch of this crap out, and at the same time, the Tulanes of the world are going to get a shot, and there could be a Coastal Carolina that gets a shot. There could be an App State that gets a shot. There's Boise State that was told that they won a national championship in the BCS, and they never got to play in the game. All I'm saying is, why is the NCAA tournament so much fun? Because 16s beat 1s now, 15s beat 2s, 10s beat 4. I mean, what is it? 10-4 all the time. Wait, let me think of that. Let me not get this wrong. No, 10 plays 6. 10s beat
Right.
6. 12-5. You'd rather be the 12 than the 5. So
Correct.
the reality of it all is the college football playoff is set up in the beginning of the season where I can tell you 2 or 3 of those spots before we play a game. And I should not be able to tell you that, Kevin, unless it's already set up. There are people that are set up to succeed, and there are people that are set up to fail. And Liberty, Tulane, SMU, all of that, they're not going to go anywhere. But a one-loss Alabama is a bigger threat with Milroe being who he is today than watching a Michigan team that slept through 3/4 of their season.
Okay. Well, it's my day off. I got to take the wife out to lunch. She's probably upstairs waiting for me. All I'll say is this. For all you teams that are in the ACC, the American Conference, all those conferences that are below, when you get the chance to play an SEC team like an Auburn, like an LSU, and like a Georgia, represent.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did.
Yeah.
Auburn had to come back to tie us in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
We smacked LSU and Harvey Williams around in the Hall of Fame Bowl, which is now the Outback Bowl. Then we came off of a long flight from Japan, went to Syracuse, then went down to Georgia in the Hedges and beat the SEC Georgia with Hines Ward in the Peach Bowl. So when those teams get their opportunities to play those big schools, you got to show up.
Oh, yeah.
And wrapping this up, that's what we did. And that's what I'm hoping Fran comes in, back to tie our conversation all together. I'm hoping Fran comes in, brings in a strong coaching staff, starts to recruit some of these kids, get some good kids out of the portal, go to a bowl game, get more exposure for the program at a bowl game for the kids, the recruits to see, hey, we're bowling again. We're going to be consistently bowling, building it back up. Open up your doors to the alumni, embrace the alumni, whether we can contribute financially, whether we contribute to support, whether we contribute with our sons and our sons' friends is coming to the program to play ball. Open that door up, build that relationship, and then the next time, hopefully, when Syracuse football is talked about, we're ranked in the top 25, and we're taking a different step every year to beat everybody in the ACC, win the ACC, go to the ACC championship, and let's get back where we used to be.
Reality of it all. If you're not trying to be 12-0, not trying to win a conference championship, and not trying to play in the college football playoff, you shouldn't play football. So with that being said, when people say, Dan, what are your expectations for Syracuse? Dude, my expectations are the same expectations for anybody. If you're not trying to win every game, don't play. That's how it is. That's reality. So with that being said,
wait, you didn't answer my question.
Yes,
Where
sir.
are we going to be?
Where are we going to be?
Where do you think we're going to be?
I was going to say that we would be back at the Pinstripe Bowl, but I think they're mad at us for that the fans that didn't show up in that Pittsburgh game. I think they're pissed. I don't think they like that. So, I mean, if I had to pick...
I saw something saying we're playing West Virginia.
I said the Armed Forces Bowl.
Is that the Armed Forces? No, Armed Forces is the one that's in Annapolis, right?
Yeah. Well, no, that's the one that's down in Texas. The Military Bowl is in Annapolis. Because I said,
someone said Armed Forces Bowl, us against West Virginia. That's the latest thing I saw.
I said that I could see us playing one of the military schools in a Military Bowl-centric game.
Okay.
Which would be Saturday, December 23rd at noon. I'm sorry, that's the Birmingham Bowl. The Military Bowl would be on December 27th, which is a Wednesday. I don't want to play in the Duke's Mayo Bowl because I don't want them putting mayonnaise on us. I don't want none of that. So with that being said, from Kevin and I, we would like you to know that you can always deal with it. And yeah, listen, my best to your Eagles. They're 2 shades of green, so I'm good with it. Tell your wife that I give her my best. Thank you for her being patient. And I just want to know when you're going to take me to lunch, Kevin. But I appreciate you.
Next time I'm up there probably will be in February. We'll probably have a meeting. I'll have a meeting up there. And you and I can go to some we'll go get some dinosaur barbecue.
Okay.
Is the varsity still open? I heard it was being changes. They were making some changes up there.
I think it's still there. I got other pizza places I can bring you to.
All right. Well, you pick a place and I'll treat you.
Oh, look at that. Kevin Greene, folks. Kev, you know I love you and I appreciate you. You are one of my top dogs that I can count on. So much love to you as always.
Appreciate you. Have a good weekend, Dan.
All right, you too. Take care. Coming from Kevin Greene here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I love my job. So we will take a step aside for a fast break. These Michigan fans, Dan, why you hate us? I don't hate you. I don't hate you and I don't hate anything. I don't hate my ex-wife. How about that? So I don't. I actually hope she's having a great life, just far away from me. Now, I'm just trying to fight with everybody today. No, I mean, this is the thing. I have nothing against Michigan. I really don't. I really have nothing against Michigan. And I have nothing against Ohio State. They just have an unfair advantage to the college football playoff. And they play a lot of fluff. That's all I'm saying. They play a lot of fluff. That's it. Right? They say about Clemson. Oh, Clemson, the ACC is down this year. You know what I mean? I mean, it's down, it's up. It's down, it's up. And that's all relative. That's all subjective, right? You could say the SEC is not that good this year because Tennessee was better last year. Kentucky was better last year. You could say all that stuff. Texas A&M was better. So, I mean, you can say that. But do you really think that Georgia's not going to vie for a national championship? You really think Georgia is not one of the best teams in the nation? You think that Alabama is not one of the best teams in the nation right now? I mean, and then people say, well, Dan, you got to let Michigan in. And I say, why? And they say, because they're undefeated. And then I love that argument because I get to hit you back with Liberty. Bang. Why isn't Liberty in? Well, come on, Dan. They didn't play anybody that was ranked. Michigan played 2 teams that were ranked. They played Penn State, who was ranked too high, and they played Ohio State, who was ranked too high. And Dan, why are they ranked too high? Because they didn't play ranked teams. I mean, come on. It's set up, right? It's set up. At the I mean, look at the preseason. The preseason had Ohio State and Michigan in the top 4. Where are they now? One of them's in the top 2. The other one's, 5? So they're given more than other conferences and other teams. That's reality. It's not fair. That's why I have the comments that I have. Not because I have hate. Not because I don't want to see Michigan and Ohio State succeed. If Michigan and Ohio State, their future schedules, if they're beating the teams on their future schedules, the Alabamas and the Texases, and they go undefeated, hell yeah, put them in the college football playoff. But right now, last year, the year before, blah. Boring. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox.
If I had to describe it, I would like to say welcoming and kind of homey. Like, I feel home when I'm here.
Here's a special message from North Star Nutrition in North Syracuse and Nutrition Wave in Cicero on their very unique shakes and teas.
I always ask them, are you looking for a shake or a tea? Like, are you hungry or do you need a little bit of a pick-me-up? And then from there, I normally gear it towards whichever they prefer. So I say we offer full meal replacement shakes. They're 24 grams of protein, 21 vitamins and minerals. So the vitamins and minerals in that shake make it a full meal. And you'll stay full for about 4 or 5 hours. And if they want a tea, then I'll tell them that there's either 115 to 200 milligrams of caffeine. I would compare it to maybe 2 cups of coffee, and I explain all the benefits that are in the tea. Like, they have B vitamins to sustain your energy all day long. They have a tea for mental clarity and focus. They have a thermogenic tea to help boost your metabolism, burn calories. Aloe is great for nutrient absorption and digestion, and I say there's other flavors in it for the pretty colors and flavors. I always ask them, like, what's your favorite lollipop flavor? And then I'll go from there, and I'm like, well, believe it or not, there's less than a gram of sugar, and it's good for you. The shakes, I say it's like your favorite candy bar or your favorite ice cream, because you've had them. It genuinely does not taste like a regular protein shake. This was the first yes that I've ever given, because I've always been like too shy or too scared to like talk to people or anything, and this just kind of really opened me up. I've stayed here so long because I just love seeing everybody's faces, having them like sit down at the bar and just telling us little tidbits about their life. You really have no idea what's going on in other people's life, and I feel like this job specifically really puts it into perspective and just kind of helps you enjoy other people's presence. As like a young adult and as a person, I have learned so much working here. Like, to me, it's way more than just shakes and teas.
For healthy drinks that taste amazing in a welcoming atmosphere, head to North Star Nutrition on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse and Nutrition Wave on 6197 State Route 31 in Cicero. Open 7 days a week at each location. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success at Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognize that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was, selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. We got some awesome specials that are set up for you. I cannot wait to share them with you coming up within the next few days, some of them today, so make sure you stay close to our social medias. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, the X, former Twitter, throw up the X, at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. So make sure you check all those out. YouTube.com/Wake Up Call DT. Be on our channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the fun stuff. Do not miss all the stuff that's coming up. American Athletic Conference Commissioner Mike Oresco, awesome conversation coming up on college football nationally, as well as the American Athletic Championship and SMU playing their final American Athletic Conference game before they go to the ACC. So a lot of stuff coming up with Mike Oresco, the commissioner of the American Athletic. Also, my expanded conversation, awesome talk with Alex Golish of South Florida, the Bulls, in his first season, where he had to find at least half of his roster, 50-some-odd guys, through junior college, the transfer portal, and through high school, and they are going bowling in their first season with Alex Golish leading the Bulls of South Florida, who are in their 26th year of playing college football, young college football team in history. So Alex Golish, as well as Nate Champion. We got an all-new bonus Dolphin Dive with you, celebrating the team's first win against a Division I opponent, which they did going all the way out to the West Coast. They won in California. In 4 games in California, they threatened 3 teams, defeated one of them, one possession with another, and within 9 points of another one of those teams. So awesome play on the West Coast by Lemoyne Dolphins men's basketball. So I got a special coming up with Nate Champion, a special coming up with Alex Golish, and a special coming up with Mike Oresco, the commissioner of the American Athletic Conference. Stay tuned for all of that, as it will be released on our social media and our YouTube channel, so you got to stay close so you know when that's going to happen. You can tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, youtube.com, facebook.com, and both /Wake Up Call DT and wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. And of course, you could go to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these outlets, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Make sure you do that. Thanks to all of our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York. I just want to say things differently now. I'm like, DT. DT. Carvel DeWitt, Mon Pa's Kettle Corner Popcorn Factory. God gave me a mic. I'm going to have fun with it. Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, Mother's Cupboard, Great Lakes Honda City, Pizza Man, North Star Nutrition, and the Nutrition Wave. You can get my Sunday at Carvel DeWitt 7 days a week. The DT Dolphin, with love to the Lemoyne College Dolphins. Go and get the DT Dolphin at Carvel DeWitt. Mint chocolate chip, green for the Dolphins, hot fudge, whipped cream, cherry, green and gold sprinkles, chocolate Dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream. The only Carvel that I know of in America that has a dolphin in their ice cream. And we did that for you guys, for the Lemoyne Dolphins and our community, because I love you. So go out and support it today. Go to Mother's Cupboard 7 days a week, 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York. Get yourself the Cuse McMother. It's my spin on the breakfast sandwich. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. Cut it up and have it with some syrup. The Cuse McMother, 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And at North Star Nutrition and Nutrition Wave, our two newest partners to the Wake Up Call family, North Star Nutrition on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, as well as Nutrition Wave on 6197 New York 31 in Cicero. You can go to both locations and ask for the Mic Drop. That is my signature power tea. Go and drink the Mic Drop today. It is a healthier tea. It tastes so sweet, so good, so awesome, filled with a ton of flavors, and at the same time, it's healthy for you. Blackberry, blueberry, watermelon, strawberry, and pomegranate all had a baby. I call it the Mic Drop. Go and get it today and drop that mic. North Star Nutrition and Nutrition Wave, where my exclusive drink is. And of course, we are proud to be, speaking of exclusive, the exclusive multimedia marketing partners of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find your Dolphins on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time during Dolphin Time. First and third Wednesday of each month, you're hanging out with AD and DT, Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And on second and fourth Wednesdays, you're going to be with the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. We under-promise and over-deliver, so there is more content than just Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and we give a spotlight to Lemoyne that they've never had before. We are in year 3 of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, and we were the exclusive home of the entire coverage from beginning to the current state of them transitioning to Division I. It all came through Wake Up Call, and I appreciate y'all for showing the love. Much love to President Dr. Linda Lemura, as well as Athletics Director Bob Beretta, the Board of Trustees, Pete DeLora, the Chair of the Board, as well as the head coaches, student athletes, alumni, future students, and student athletes, the teachers, the administration, and everyone involved with Lemoyne. Much love, much appreciation. Fins up. Go to LeMoyneDolphins.com for more information. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for all of our content at youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You'll find a spotlight on the Bobcats that they've never had before. Men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, and esports will be coming here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thanks to the Bobcats and the Bobcat Buzz. Go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Hit the notification bell, click subscribe, and love up the Bobcats. You can see all of them on the playlist on our YouTube channel by going to the BSC Syracuse playlist. Much appreciation and thanks to Nick Dmitrievsky, the athletics director, assistant AD, Alex Grigorita, to all the coaches, to the students, the student athletes, the alumni, the future students and student athletes, as well as the entire administration, to Mary, to everybody at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse on James Street. We appreciate you. I thank you so much for all the stories we get to tell and the incredible community that is at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Go out and support your Bobcats for men's and women's basketball season going on right now, and much appreciation and much thanks to the men's and women's soccer teams for their efforts to be in the top 2 in the nation and to both vie for the national tournament, and for the women's team to play in the national championship game for the 3rd season in a row. The women's team will join me at Pizza Man next Thursday, December 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Come have dinner and celebrate the Bobcats going to yet another national championship game. Much appreciation to the Bobcats. Check out the Bobcat Buzz exclusively on Wake Up Call. And for more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Go Bobcats. Wake Up Call would like to thank you for tuning in to the broadcast. I appreciate you so much. Inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn, Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, maandpazpopcorn.com. Go to Ma and Pa's today. It is the perfect gift basket place. So Ma and Pa's bring you what's poppin', and they can also bring you the perfect gift basket for your family, friends, coworkers, colleagues, your significant other, whoever it may be. Make sure you go to Ma and Pa's, 201 7th North Street in Liverpool. Get your gift basket today. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. And while you're there, get some popcorn and kettle corn for yourself. You deserve it, so make sure you go and do that today and support local. Big shout out to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding for the top dog of the week. And, of course, my dude, Kevin Greene, Syracuse Orange fullback and running back alum, joining me to talk about Fran Brown's hiring, the importance of the Northeast, the history of Syracuse football, as well as a note to Syracuse football, a note to Fran Brown, positivity toward the future, and talking about college football in the NFL. Kevin Greene, I appreciate you. He was hoping he's one of my top dogs, and he is one of the people that gives me positive, consistent, good advice every single week. And for that, I consider you a beautiful part of my life. Love you, Kevin. I hope you all have a great day. Find us on our socials. Find us on YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora wherever you are, and you'll find us all around the world. How about that? By the grace of God, I am here to share my story and to share yours. I hope you have a great day. God bless. No stress. Do your best. The next time that you see me, I will be at the New York State Fair this Sunday, December 3rd, hanging out, having fun, having a grand old time, because my buddy Brendan Murphy, who does DT and Murphy with me, Murph and I are going to be at the Mega Show for Collectors Fest. We're going to be bringing comic books, toys, sports cards, and you can come visit me and Murph and buy from our awesome collection this weekend at the New York State Fair on December 3rd, starting at, I think, like 8:30 in the morning, going all the way till 3. Make sure you go see Christian Brothers Academy at 3 o'clock in the Dome, vie for a state title. And beyond that, I look forward to hanging out with you and spending some time together, and you hearing from me when I have the first opportunity to speak with Fran Brown, the new head coach of Syracuse, Monday morning. God bless. No stress. Do your best.